I have kidnapped an alien civilization. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 276 Rescue 4. Outside the wooden house. 3, 2, 1. Xiaogi and Afan looked at each other at the same time, smiled at each other, and pulled the trigger at the same time. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Gun smoke filled the air, flames rose, and wood chips flew. Hundreds of bullets turned the wall of the wooden house into a sieve in just a few seconds. With a heavy kick from Xiaogi, the wall collapsed. The wooden house was filled with smoke and dust. Even with the mask on, Xiaogi could hardly see the situation inside the house. In the blurred vision, two broken bodies appeared behind the corner of the wall. Xiaogi held the gun and kicked with his feet. It couldn't be deader. The commando mission is completed. Over. Two blurry figures appeared in the center of the wooden house. Xiaogi immediately raised his gun. The breakthrough team mission is completed. Over. The blurry figure gestured to him. Xiaogi put down his gun and the four of them rushed straight into the hostage room. Compared to the ruins outside, the hostage room was much more intact. A small man lay quietly on the ground, with a fist-sized hole on his chest. A Chinese woman with messy hair was firmly tied to a pillar with a tendon rope. Her mouth was stuffed with gauze, and she was staring at them with wide eyes in panic. The little ghost raised his arm slightly, and the three people beside him immediately pointed their guns outward, and were on alert. Hush, don't be afraid, we are the ones who will save you. Zhang Xiaoli hired us. If you understand, nod your head. The little ghost put his finger on his lips and tried to calm the woman's emotions. Sometimes hostages in panic are more threatening than kidnappers. When the woman heard Zhang Xiaoli's name, her eyes lit up and she nodded quickly. The little ghost took out a tactical dagger and carefully cut the rope. The woman's body softened and she could no longer hold on. Hostage rescue completed. Over. Gather at the assembly point. Over. Brother He waved his arms excitedly. 5 minutes later, 4 men covered in smoke appeared in the woods, carrying a thin Chinese woman on their backs. Their faces showed the joy of surviving a disaster. Little ghost, here. The old ghost who had been waiting on the side shouted to them. Is the hostage okay? Brother He appeared behind them silently. No, he was just too frightened and fainted. The little ghost replied. Brother He nodded and took out the satellite phone. 01. Mission completed. Request evacuation. 02. Evacuate immediately. Satellite monitoring. There are 2 pickup trucks speeding past your direction. A voice mixed with joy and tension came from the satellite phone. Real-time monitoring has been sent. 02 received. Evacuate immediately. Over. Brother He hung up the phone. He stood up, looked around at his teammates who were celebrating, and said loudly, enemy support is coming. We will evacuate immediately. Erzi, you are responsible for carrying the hostages. Xiaogi, cover the rear. Geo, 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 go. On the narrow mountain road, a van with black smoke roared. Behind it, 2 pickup trucks appeared, with heavy machine guns mounted in the cabins of the pickup trucks. Compared with the dilapidated vans, the pickup trucks are faster. The distance between the two is getting closer and closer, and the machine gunner's hand is already on the trigger, ready to fire at the van in front at any time. Captain, we are about to enter the enemy's range. Xiaogi looked out through the hole in the cabin. Laogi, I say stop. You stop immediately. Brother He said into the microphone. Received. Over. Everyone prepare to shoot. The shooting target position moves forward 1 grid. The direction is 31 degrees, and the elevation angle is 21 degrees. Brother He stared at the 2 green dots moving continuously on the tablet. Ready. Stop. Laogi used all his strength to step on the brake. The tires rubbed against the ground fiercely. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Open the door. The kid quickly opened the iron door of the cargo box. Fire. The people crawling in the car adjusted their angles and pulled the trigger without hesitation. Da 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 da. On the pickup truck behind him, the machine gun looked at the sudden break of the cargo box in front of him, and a few black missiles appeared in the tailgate. He felt a sharp pain in his chest and subconsciously pulled the trigger. I've been fooled. Seeing the machine gun bullets flying, the pickup truck machine gunner had the last thought. After a fierce shooting, the pickup truck behind him turned into two balls of fire, and everyone cheered. "Arrah! Captain, your skills are still as good as before." That shot hit the heart directly from 1,000 meters away. The little kidnapper also reacted quickly, and his finger was on the trigger. If it was a little bit off, the hostage would be in danger. The kid hugged Brother Hay's neck excitedly and shouted loudly. Brother Hay leaned in the car, looking at the top of the mountain in the distance. He decided that the first thing he would do after returning was to go and see his comrades lying in the cold ground. Under the setting sun, the broken van rushed along the road to the border. Time: 23 p.m. Location: private airport in the suburbs of Yanjing. Zhang Kanggang is a ground staff member of the Kehung airport. In the evening, when he saw a convoy of more than a dozen cars entering the airport apron, he knew that he had to work overtime today. Sure enough, the airport command center soon issued an order for all staff to work overtime. Zhang Kanggang had to hide in the toilet and made a phone call. "Zia Fang, I can't accompany you tonight. No, absolutely no one else. I have to work overtime at the airport today. I will make it up to you." There was a delicate complaint from the other side of the phone. Thinking of that seductive figure, he couldn't help swallowing his saliva and comforted her. "Really, I lied to you that I was a puppy." Knock knock knock. A knock on the door came from outside. "Zhang Kanggang, hurry up, the captain is going to call the roll." A colleague Leo Zhao shouted from outside the door. "No more talk, baby, I have to work." Zhang Kanggang lowered his voice, quickly hung up the phone, and pressed the flush button. "I'm coming. I'm coming. Why are you rushing me?" Although his face was full of reluctance, his movements were not slow at all. 3 minutes later, Zhang Kanggang, holding a navigation stick, had appeared on the apron. His task was to provide coordinate assistance for the landing of the aircraft. To be honest, this is a job with no technical skills, basically at the bottom of the airport. But Zhang Kanggang is completely satisfied with his current job. He himself graduated from the Civil Aviation College and once entered a civil aviation airport with a dream in his heart. However, an accidental mistake was deliberately magnified by the leader. Unable to bear the endless humiliation, he chose to resign. Fortunately, with his work experience at the Civil Aviation Airport, he successfully joined Kehung 5 years ago. This is a small airport with the nature of a club, specializing in providing aircraft takeoff and landing services for the rich. After starting to work here, Zhang Kanggang finally understood what a life of living a life of idleness and waiting for death was. Since there were very few domestic aviation enthusiasts, the wealthy businessmen bought airplanes just to show off their face and would not use them often. After all, how could the safety and comfort of small airplanes compare with Boeing airplanes? As a result, this airport was often idle, and the level of playing landlord among these ground staff rose sharply. The work was halved, but the salary was not low. This life was too comfortable. TSK. This guy today is very important. Zhang Kanggang's eyes swept over the dozen cars parked on the side. Unlike ordinary people who think that cars are luxury cars, as long as they are BBA, Maserati, and Daniel, he understood a truth during the years of starting to sell. That is, it is better to look at the license plate than the model. Take today's fleet for example, all of them are Yan for taking photos, and some even have small number plates of 00. If these license plates are taken out for auction, they are worth at least a BBA of 8 series or above. Although most of this fleet is made up of domestic cars, the wide explosion-proof tires and low shock absorption mean that the cars must have been specially modified. A dozen black-clad bodyguards wearing sunglasses guarded the entrances and exits. They all had short crew cuts and slightly bulged waists. A thin young man stood in the middle of the airport, looking far to the south. A breeze blew, mixed with a little chill. A woman who looked like an assistant took out a windbreaker from the nanny car and gently put it on the young man. TSK. What an aura. Zhang Kanggang was very alert. Unlike those rich young men, these low-key people were not so easy to fool. Time passed by bit by bit. The young man stood in the middle of the airport, and it seemed that he was the only one in the world. "Boss, do you want to take a break? Brother Hay and the others will need at least half an hour." Xia King looked at Liemo worriedly and asked as she stepped forward. Liemo shook his head. Compared with the bloody storm those warriors had just experienced, his fatigue was nothing. How is Zhang Xiaoli's mood? Knowing that her mother had been rescued, Zhang Xiaoli went to the airport to greet her in person regardless of the obstruction. Falling asleep now. Xia King glanced at the nanny car in the distance. Zhang Xiaoli had not rested since yesterday. Buzz buzz buzz, a propeller sound came, and the red dots flashing in the sky approached the airport. They are back. Zhang Xiaoli didn't know when she had arrived at the airport. She waved her arms and shouted loudly. A camouflage painted helicopter landed smoothly. Liemo went up to meet it regardless of the dust raised by the propeller. Fortunately, I have fulfilled my mission. The first to get off the helicopter was Brother He. His cracked lips trembled slightly, and his eyes were full of surprise. Thank you. Liemo hugged him tightly. This is Xiaogi, Erzi, Dafeng, and Xiaoxio. Brother He introduced the returning team members one by one. Thank you. Liemo knew that they were all Brother He's good brothers. At this time, the Chinese woman who had woken up also got off the helicopter. Mom. A figure and over. Nanan. The Chinese woman shed excited tears. A bright moon rose, and the warm moonlight fell, removing some of the darkness in the world. The company will reward 200,000 yuan each to Brother He and his team members. Help Zhang Xiaoli rent a house near Yanda University, and the rent will be paid by the company. On the way back, the relaxed mood made Liemo feel a little tired. He lay on the back seat, rubbed his eyes, and gave instructions to Xia King. Chapter 277, Searching for Core Particles 1. Yanjing Electron Positron Collider Center. Mr. Wang, I'm sorry to bother you again. Liemo got out of the car and stretched out his hands. Welcome. Mr. Wang, who was standing at the door of the computing center, also smiled and stretched out his hands. But when he glanced at the parking space next to him, he stopped walking, and the smile was stagnant on his face. Like a clay sculpture or a wooden sculpture, he stared at the 5 exaggerated RVs not far away. The 15 standard parking spaces were fully occupied by these 5 monsters. What are you doing? Mr. Wang tried his best to retract his gaze, and looked at Liemo, who was coming towards him in confusion. This. Liemo's face also showed a puzzled expression. When he saw the direction of Mr. Wang's finger, he suddenly realized. This is our company's RV. Since this experiment takes a long time, in order to keep it confidential, all employees of Mosey Technology Laboratory need to live in the RV this time. Confidentiality? Mr. Wang saw that several young people in uniforms had begun to block the gate and install security equipment. What's more, a drone with the words Marxing Technology printed on it began to hover in the air. When did the security of the Collider Center need outsiders to intervene? Engineer Wang's face became more and more ugly. His good education made him try his best to suppress his anger. Is this person going to get angry? Liemo frowned. The head of the collider in front of him seemed not to have received the notice. Thinking of this, he waved his hand. Zhang Xiaoli, who was wearing a professional suit, trotted all the way and handed over the briefcase. This is the approval document. Please take a look. Engineer Wang had a stern face. He had been in charge of the collision center for so many years, and no one had ever dared to mess up his 1/3 acre of land. But the scene in front of him was no longer a mess. It was simply to rob his hometown. No one's order would work, so he deliberately did not reach out to take the document. Take a look. Liemo insisted on handing over the document with a smile. Humph. Engineer Wang opened the document angrily. Professor Liemo is hereby appointed to preside over all matters of the Yanqing Electron Positron Collider Center during the experiment. All matters. Who is so loud? The Collider Center is a state-affiliated unit and is not under the jurisdiction of the local government. Engineer Wang's anger is already at a critical state of eruption. He looked down and saw a seal pattern in the corner. When he saw the red seal pattern, Engineer Wang was shocked, and the burning flame in his heart was instantly extinguished. He blushed and pointed at the document and said stammeringly, "What is this seal?" Just as you thought, the seal was stamped by that person himself. Liemo still had a calm attitude. That's it. Engineer Wang was originally a very smart person. After his brain ran at 0.0001 times the supercomputing speed, He instantly understood the whole story. He said in an earnest tone, "Brother, someone wants to harm me today." Li Mo already knew that Engineer Wang in front of him had never received any notice from above. Otherwise, he would not have risked disobeying that person's order and deliberately refused to cooperate with the Mosey Technology Laboratory. "Boss, we now need to connect the RV to the power supply and water source, which requires the cooperation of the center." A laboratory employee trotted over. Li Mo looked at Engineer Wang with a playful look on his face. Engineer Wang nodded immediately. "I'll ask the center's maintenance department to help you." After that, he added, "In fact, there are several guest rooms here that can fully meet your needs." Li Mo shook his head. The kidnapping of Zhang Xiaoli's mother has shown that the enemy can do anything for quantum chips. In this case, the RV guarded by Brother He is safer than the guest room of the Collider Center. Facing the goodwill of the head of the Collider Center, he happily expressed his gratitude. After all, the turmoil just now was just a misunderstanding. "Boss, the security system has been installed." Brother He walked over and said, as he guards the door, "Xiaogi is responsible for the mobile sentry, Xiaoxio guards the collider, and Dafeng is in charge of the drones in the air." Since Brother He's brothers came back from Myanmar, under Li Mo's repeated invitations and Brother He's emotional offensive, the 4 battle-hardened veterans agreed to join the security team of Mosey Technology. "Boss, our experimental materials have been delivered and are being handed over." Zhao Mingru walked over. "Boss, the experimental plan has been entered into the computer and can be used at any time." Zhao Dafeng walked over. "Boss, there's me too." Zhang Xiaoli raised her hand behind him. The sun was rising, and golden dots fell on everyone. Li Mo waved his hand. "Let's march into the future." He took the lead to walk to the door of the computing center, and the people behind him were full of momentum. "Attention, everyone. Attention, everyone. The first experiment is about to begin. Due to unknown safety hazards, please stay away from the collision room." After a burst of alarms, a crisp voice spread throughout the collision center through the loudspeaker. Li Mo looked at the horrified expressions of the employees of the collision center and scratched his head helplessly. He never thought that when the experimental steps were entered into the program, they were judged by the collision system as having low risk. Since most of the experiments conducted in the collider are related to high-energy physics, in the high-speed collision of particles, the experimental subjects may be out of control, and even the collider itself may be affected. Therefore, during the construction of the collider center, engineers set up a risk assessment system to ensure the safety of the collider during operation. Any experiment that is judged to be risky is strictly prohibited from being carried out in the collider. After a detailed analysis, Li Mo still could not find out which step caused the risk alarm. In his opinion, this experimental plan produced by the Mosey Technology Laboratory after a month was extremely perfect. Could it be because of multi-particle collision? The experimental goal cannot be changed, and the experimental plan cannot be changed. Li Mo cast his eyes on Engineer Wang, whose forehead was sweating. Engineer Wang took out a handkerchief from his pocket, wiped it a few times, and forced an ugly smile on his face. "Professor Li, you are making things difficult for me. According to the regulations of the Collider Center, it is strictly forbidden to run any risky experiments." Li Mo stared at Engineer Wang and said word by word, "What if I must run this experiment? Doing so does not mean ignoring the risk control of the collider." In Li Mo's opinion, the engineers at the time did not expect that the collider would need to conduct such a complex collision experiment in a few years. If Nobel had chosen a more conservative method when testing explosives, there would be no Nobel Prize that inspired countless people in the world. Science must have an adventurous spirit. If the collider explodes, you can build another one. If you don't run the experiment, you may never get the secret of the quantum chip. What if I must run this experiment? Li Mo repeated it again with his eyes like rainbows. A little sweat appeared on Engineer Wang's forehead, which he had just wiped clean. He realized that Professor Li would never give up the experimental plan. "Then you can issue the order yourself." Wang Gong had a flash of inspiration. "Doesn't this master have the official document above? With this official document, Li Mo can take over all the rights of the Collider Center. In this way, if there is any problem with the collider, it has nothing to do with him." In this way, a scene that stunned the entire Collider Center staff appeared. The laboratory leader who came to participate in the experiment stood in front of the command desk to issue orders, while the real commander of the Collider Center sat on the sofa on the side with his eyes closed. Chapter 278 Searching for Core Particles 2. Employees have evacuated and are ready for the experiment. Wang Xiaoli stood next to the command desk and acted as an announcer. You can't say that her fluent Mandarin is not much different from that of a real host. Start the experiment. Li Mo pressed the Collider start button. The circuit system is normal. The internal pressure is normal. The external pressure is normal. The accelerator is normal. Although the Collider obviously does not make any sound when it is started, Li Mo still feels that he heard a noisy whisper, like the whistling wind mixed with strange notes, which went straight into his mind, but when he concentrated, he could not distinguish the meaning. He looked up and saw that the employees of the Collider Center were all standing in front of the controller, concentrating on adjusting various buttons to control the various data inside the Collider. The experimenters of MOSI technology gathered together to analyze various information about the operation of the Collider. Engineer Wang, who let it go, was still resting his eyes on the sofa and seemed to be asleep. They did not have any abnormal reaction. Li Mo was sure, except for himself, no one else heard this noise. Everything is running normally in the Collider. Accompanied by a cheer, applause rang out in the control hall. Li Mo was awakened at this moment. Now is the critical moment, and he cannot be distracted by an illusory voice. In the process of using the Collider for collision, there are two crucial stages. One is the initial debugging stage. The experimenters have to adjust thousands of settings according to the purpose of the collision experiment. Each setting is related to the success or failure of the experiment. The second is the end of the collision. At that time, the mainframe of the Collider Center will analyze the data of the products after the collision. Whether the experiment is successful depends on countless accidents in the collision chamber. At present, the Collider is in the acceleration stage. The particles need to be continuously accelerated in the accelerator, so no human intervention is required. The employees of the Collider Center began to hand over shifts one after another. In the control hall of the computing center, only a few staff on duty were left. Boss, do you want to take a rest? Zhang Xiaoli came over and said with concern. Li Mo looked at the progress of the experiment. The Collider will take at least 5 hours to produce results, and it will be late at night after 5 hours. If this collision does not produce an atomic fusion product with a relative mass of 512, then it is necessary to start the second experiment immediately, so it is important to retain enough energy. He nodded and left the hall with Zhang Xiaoli. The security measures arranged by Brother He have been fully activated. At the gate, employees of the Collider Center have stopped their cars for inspection. Woof woof. 2 dog barks came, and Li Mo looked over and saw that the security personnel were leading a police dog to inspect a small car. Although the expression of the person being inspected was not clear due to the distance, it is conceivable that a normal person would not have a good expression facing such a large wolf dog more than 1 meter long. Is it too ostentatious? Zhang Xiaoli frowned. They were just guests. It was a bit too much to treat the host like this. Li Mo still had a smile on his face, and his point of view was completely different. Everything he did now was for one purpose, that is, the Collider experiment went smoothly and achieved the experimental purpose as soon as possible. In this process, all means that comply with the law are not considered excessive. Brother He wants this kind of ostentation. He knew that Brother He was not a person who shot at nothing. Zhang Xiaoli showed a puzzled expression. Why? The kidnapping incident shows that our quantum chip plan is no longer a confidential project. Li Mo explained. The enemy already knows clearly what we are doing, but I know nothing about them. In this case, it is particularly important to show your strength appropriately. Strict security measures may make them retreat and avoid many unnecessary troubles. Zhang Xiaoli looked at the drone hovering in the sky and said thoughtfully, like a tiger? Li Mo nodded. Yes, just like a tiger, when it hunts prey, it will approach silently. And when it encounters a real strong enemy, it will make a threatening roar. This is a psychological game. This is why the MOSI Technology Laboratory will conduct this collision experiment with great fanfare. Once the enemy feels that there is an opportunity and launches an attack, all damage cannot be avoided even with strict defense. So the best way is to prevent the enemy from finding a loophole to start with. Boss, open the door yourself. In front of RV number 1, Zhang Xiaoli's face was red. The huge RV was like a mechanical monster. She stood on the pedal and tried to pull the door handle open with her hands. After pulling it several times, it didn't move at all. Liemo shook his head, walked to the second step, and gently touched the green umbrella shield logo printed on the door. This pattern is composed of a hexagonal shield in the shape of an umbrella, showing green and white colors. This is a logo that Liemo made for the Mosey Technology Laboratory. In the future, it will appear on all the equipment in the laboratory. Click, a camera stretched out from the top of the RV. Liemo's eyes looked at the camera. Click, the door was unlocked and slowly opened, and the camera retracted into the roof without a trace. This Zhang Xiaoli thought the scene in front of her was too magical. This RV was also equipped with our access control system. Liemo turned around and said, the systems of these RVs are directly connected to the mainframe of the laboratory, and the pupil data of the official members of the laboratory have been recorded. Zhang Xiaoli looked at this scene that she had only seen in science fiction movies, and her heart was happy and excited. The boss was going to turn the laboratory into a future world. Come up. Liemo saw her standing in front of the car with a confused look on her face. Zhang Xiaoli woke up in shock. Me? Can I go in? Liemo smiled. Why not? They are still in the computing center. Do you want to stay down there alone? Zhang Xiaoli immediately shook her head, grabbed the handrail, and climbed up the RV. Wow. It's so awesome. Leather sofa, 60-inch TV, shower room, refrigerator, kitchen. Boss, we have everything here. As soon as Zhang Xiaoli got in the car, she started her exploration journey like a lively rabbit. Liemo sat gently on the sofa. The specially customized sofa lifted his whole body gently, as if he was on a cloud. Boss, do you have a double bed here? Zhang Xiaoli shouted from behind. Liemo slapped his head suddenly. When he commissioned Daffy to customize this RV, he asked for everything in the RV to be the best. Unexpectedly, Daffy actually equipped him with a double bed in a small space. Damn Daffy. Now he could only answer embarrassedly, I have a bad sleeping posture. The bed is too small, and it is easy to fall off. Chapter 279 Searching for Core Particles 3. As night fell, the sun, the star on which human civilization depends for its existence, had quietly moved to the other hemisphere. If you were lucky enough to look down at the earth from space at this time, you would find that many nightlight pearls appeared on the land of China, breaking through the endless night, and Yangjing was the brightest one among them. The positron electron collider center located in the suburbs also contributed a bit of brightness. Dozens of high-power tungsten lamps illuminated the entire collider center, as if it were daytime. Although it was already late at night, the hall of the computing center was still bustling with people, and the lights on the entire row of controllers were flashing. Boss, it is expected that the host will calculate the results of the first collision experiment in 10 minutes. A girl who should not be here reported. Sit down. There was no joy or tension on Liemo's face, but a little anger. Xia King slightly gathered the hem of her skirt with her hands, and sat down gracefully. Your performance this time was very bad. I'm very angry. Liemo raised his eyebrows, widened his eyes, and tried his best to make an angry expression. I know I was wrong, boss. Please forgive me this time. As she apologized, Xia King raised her eyes and showed a smile that she couldn't hide. You, he shook his head helplessly. If you stay here, who will be in charge of marksing technology? After a rest, when Liemo, who was full of energy, appeared in the computing center again, he unexpectedly found that Xia King, who was supposed to be in charge of Mosey Technology, was looking at him excitedly, while assistant Zhang Xiaoli was nowhere to be seen. Xia King answered confidently, after more than a year of development, marksing technology has already been on the right track. There will be a dedicated person in charge of all matters. They will report to me when they really can't make up their minds. And, you once said that an excellent company should form a complete set of rules and regulations, and should not rely too much on the general manager. Did you say that? As she said that, her little mouth curled up slightly, and a wronged expression appeared on her face. This is playing tricks. Xia King quoted what Liemo had said before, which made him speechless for a moment. Then have you thought about Zhang Xiaoli? She is a sensitive child herself. Liemo thought for a while and added. Xia King's mouth curled slightly, as if Liemo's question hit the mark. Xiaoli is my good sister. Why didn't I think of her? Xiaoli and I have discussed it. She will accompany you to work during the day, and I will accompany you at night. Isn't that alright? Liemo patted his head. Is it still possible? But looking at Xia King's attitude, he would not go back easily. He said, if you want to stay here, you are absolutely not allowed to interfere with Zhang Xiaoli's work. Hearing that the boss agreed to let her stay, Xia King's face was full of joy, and she nodded hurriedly. Boss, the experimental results are coming out soon. I'll go and see. She trotted all the way to the experimental control console. Looking at her happy back like a deer, Liemo sighed from the bottom of his heart. A moment later, boss, the first experiment failed. Xia King came back with a frustrated look on her face. No abnormal atoms appeared in the collision chamber. After she finished speaking, she took a sneak peek. Unexpectedly, there was no frustrated expression on the boss's face. That's normal. Let them start preparing for the second experiment immediately. Liemo said calmly. He had been prepared for such a result. To be precise, if the 512 atomic fusion group was so easy to be discovered, it would be beyond his expectation. 2 hours later. Attention, all personnel. Attention, all personnel. The second experiment is about to begin. Due to unknown safety hazards, please stay away from the collision room. With Xia King's broadcast, the second collision experiment began. The operators at the Collider Center temporarily adopted a two-shift work system. For each round of experiments, a group of operators was replaced. Now the operators who participated in the experiment just now are taking over. Liemo scanned the hall and found a black object lying on the sofa by the window. What? The black object squirmed at this time, and he suddenly found that it was Engineer Wang lying on the sofa. Engineer Wang. Engineer Wang, wake up. Although the constant temperature air conditioner is turned on 24 hours a day in the hall, it is still easy to catch a cold lying here. Liemo patted him gently with his hand. Huh. Engineer Wang turned around and changed his posture. Engineer Wang. Liemo had to get close to his ear and shouted loudly. What's wrong? What's wrong? The collider exploded. Engineer Wang stood up with a somersault. Well, he is so agile. His speed is almost catching up with that of young people. Liemo looked helpless. What's the explosion? You go back to sleep. I'll watch here. Engineer Wang adjusted his glasses and looked at the main control panel. After a moment, he confirmed that the collider was operating normally and looked aggrieved. I'm worried. Liemo was angry and amused. He was the one who shirked responsibility without hesitation during the day, and now he is still worried. It's okay. It's useless for you to stay here. Can you withstand the explosion of the collider? Even if the collider explodes, I will help the Collider Center build a new one and let you be the head. How is it? This collision experiment will take a month. The extra long time is a huge test for everyone. Liemo doesn't want anyone to fall down in the experiment. Compared with those operators who can be rotated, the main responsible persons like Engineer Wang are more tired. Although he knew that the young professor in front of him was saying something to comfort him, Wang Gong still felt warm in his heart. He said seriously, then you must take good care of it. Liemo nodded solemnly. At this time, Xia King's crisp voice came from the door. The midnight snack is here. Everyone take turns to eat a little. Today there are braised crayfish, grilled squid, Luahan vegetarian, and otten. 2 young men in security uniforms walked in carrying a heavy food box. A fragrance came to my nose. Wow, there is also a midnight snack. I like otten the most. A girl from the computing center shouted happily. Several young people couldn't wait to get close to the food box. Don't worry, everyone has it. Xia King directed the security personnel to open the box. Suddenly, the hall of the computer center was filled with the aroma of food. Goo goo. A strange sound came from Wang Gong's stomach as he was about to leave. He looked at the people who were feasting with eagerness, and perhaps because of his status, he did not step forward. People are made of iron and food is made of steel. Please eat a little before you rest. Liemo took the initiative to say. Wang Gong trotted towards the food box. Leave some crayfish. Liemo stood by and watched the scene quietly. How is it, boss? Unknowingly, Zirking had quietly come to his side. Liemo deliberately put on a stern face and nodded slightly. Not bad. Then he turned and walked outside. How good is not bad? Zirking, who was waiting for praise, had a question mark on her face. Chapter 280 VIP 1. The 20th experiment has ended, and the 21st experiment is about to begin. Everyone, pay attention. The 21st experiment is ready. The 21st experiment is about to begin. Due to unknown safety hazards, please stay away from the collision room. It was daytime, so Zhang Xiaoli was in charge of the broadcast. She looked tired, and her voice was a little weaker. Jingjing, who was responsible for recording the data, yawned continuously. The three brothers with eye bags, who were responsible for adjusting the experimental procedures, sat side by side in their seats, staring blankly at the big screen. The atmosphere in the hall was no longer as exciting as it was at the beginning. Even Engineer Wang, who called himself the protector of the collider, was slipping away. Seeing this scene, Liemo frowned slightly. They had experienced 20 consecutive failures in 15 days. Every time they heard the news of failure, their hearts were like being hit by a heavy hammer. The heavy hammer kept hitting their confidence, leaving a slight crack. Liemo tried his best to appear calm and composed, and every news of failure could only bring him a slight smile. It seemed that the results of these failures were all within his expectations, because he knew that all the members were watching him. Fortunately, the entire experimental plan was carefully designed and did not require too much human adjustment, otherwise it would be a big trouble this time. Liemo realized at this time that, although these experimenters had superior IQs, they were still too immature and had experienced too few setbacks. In scientific exploration, setbacks are inevitable. Beep beep, a mobile phone rang in the hall. Everyone looked at each other, and they looked at each other with strange expressions on their faces. This guy with a mobile phone is really brave. Because according to the regulations of the Collider Center, all staff entering the computing center need to hand in their mobile phones. Today, it may be that some unlucky guy was careless again. Beep 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 beep. Because the owner of the mobile phone failed to hang up the phone in time, the mobile phone rang non-stop, which was particularly harsh in the dull hall. At this time, Zhao Mingru stood up. He was already angry, and now he was even more irritated. He decided to find the owner of the mobile phone and give him a good beating. He looked around and pricked up his ears to try to distinguish the source of the ringing. Left, right, forward, found it. Just in front of him, a thin figure appeared in front of him with his hands behind his back, and the ringing of a mobile phone came from the figure's pocket. Hello. Zhao Mingru shouted loudly. The figure turned around, and it was the boss Liemo. Point, little boss. Your phone is ringing. Seeing Liemo's puzzled expression, Zhang Mingru pointed to his pocket. Though Liemo was also confused. As the leader of the laboratory, he couldn't not carry a mobile phone with him, so before the experiment started, he had already opened the super whitelist, and only a limited number of calls could come in. The familiar number on the screen was Mr. Wang, and Liemo immediately answered the phone. In 20 minutes, a VIP will come to inspect your work. After saying this meaningless sentence on the phone, Mr. Wang hung up. Beep. Liemo held the disconnected mobile phone and stood there in a daze. VIP. Inspection? He was unfamiliar with the word inspection, because as a personal laboratory, he had no direct superior. He had always inspected the cooperative units, and no one had inspected him yet. However, there are not many people who can make Mr. Wang a VIP. Could it be that old man? Liemo thought of a name, and his heart suddenly jumped. Thinking of this, he waved his hand. Zhang Xiaoli trotted over. Boss, Liemo whispered, go and wake up the rotating members of the laboratory. His eyes fell on the three brothers with bags under their eyes who were listless. And let them all change into clean clothes and cheer up. This Zhang Xiaoli looked puzzled, because the rotating members were probably still asleep, and getting up so early would affect the next round of experiments. Go, immediately, right away. Liemo said anxiously. He didn't want the members of the Mosey technology experiment to appear in front of the old man with such a listless expression. Zhang Xiaoli trotted all the way to the RV. Liemo also decided to wash up. When he walked into the yard, he unexpectedly found that there were a few more unfamiliar faces among the sentries at the gate. They stood side by side with the security personnel of Mosey Technology on both sides of the gate. What's going on? He cast a puzzled look at Brother Hay, who was on duty. After meeting his gaze, Brother Hay turned his head away slightly. Brother Hay's strange behavior made Liemo more certain of what he was thinking. 10 minutes later, all the laboratory members gathered in the hall. After washing, their spirits were refreshed. "Boss, what are you doing?" Zhao Dafeng, who had just been awakened from his dream, was full of anger, but when he knew it was the boss's order, he quickly dressed without saying a word. "Boss, did you make a new discovery in the experiment?" Zia King's big eyes flickered, because under normal circumstances, the boss would never disturb their rest. Liemo put his finger on his mouth and made a gesture to keep silent. "According to reliable information, a distinguished guest is coming to inspect our experiment." Although there was no official notice, Mr. Wang's phone call, the unfamiliar security personnel at the door, and Brother Hay's strange behavior all indicated that the person who was coming was extraordinary. "VIP, how expensive is it?" Zia King asked doubtfully. Like Liemo, the Mosey Technology she manages has become the object of pursuit by countless car companies in the market because it has mastered the core technology of new energy batteries. She has always been invited to inspect by others. Liemo pointed to the ceiling. Everyone was stunned. "Me? Really? No way. That old man is coming? I've only seen him on TV." The average IQ of these people in front of them is 220, so they are naturally very smart. What the ceiling represents, they figured it out after a little thought. Liemo smiled slightly and thought to himself, "These are all your own guesses. I didn't say the name, and the old man didn't come. You can't blame him." Only Zhang Xiaoli looked at the excited people with a confused face. "Who is it?" Zia King looked at her confused face, which was very cute, and quietly leaned close to her ear and whispered, "Really?" Zhang Xiaoli immediately showed an expression of disbelief. Liemo nodded gently. "So everyone must cheer up and not let down our reputation as the #1 laboratory in the country," he said loudly. "Yes, in the latest scientific laboratory rankings, the Yanjing Mosey Science and Technology Laboratory has topped the list." Everyone nodded. Chapter 281 Dare to Fail. 5 red flag cars drove slowly onto the wide street. They were ordinary cars. The license plates were ordinary license plates. But when they appeared at the gate smoothly, all the security guards breathed a sigh of relief and saluted in unison. Even Hage's rough and dark cheeks were a little red with excitement, and his raised right hand trembled slightly. The red flag car drove straight into the center of the collider and stopped steadily. From the 2 cars in front, several security guards in black suits got off. They looked around with sunglasses on. After confirming the surrounding situation, they reported something to the hidden wireless headphones in their ears. The doors of the 2 cars behind also opened, and a young man who looked like a secretary walked towards the middle car. A few seconds later, an energetic old man appeared in the yard. He walked slowly forward, scanning the surroundings with a pair of eyes that were not angry but intimidating. It was really him. Although he had been mentally prepared, Liemo's heart was still beating with excitement. "You are welcome, little friend." The old man looked at Liemo, who was standing on the steps in a daze, with a kind expression on his face. The old man was talking to him, and Liemo realized that he was talking to him. He quickly walked down the steps and stretched out his hands. "Welcome. Welcome. I didn't expect that this small experiment would alarm you." Liemo was not overly modest. This Chinese old man who often appeared in news programs was busy every day. This seemingly large-scale collision experiment was just a small wave in the eyes of the whole China. "Small experiment? Your experiment is not small this time. If it succeeds, we will have another magic weapon." The old man smiled and looked deep. "After decades of unremitting efforts by all citizens, our China has achieved impressive results in economic development and its national strength is growing stronger and stronger, but it is still lacking in some high-end fields. Especially with the development of the times, chips will play an increasingly important role. If we don't develop our own chips, we will be strangled by others sooner or later," the old man said, and waved his arms vigorously. Liemo nodded frequently. The position he was in determined his perspective on the problem. In order to save costs and reap the greatest benefits, some large technology companies in society have been promoting the absurd statement of it is better to buy than to make, and have directly handed over their lifeblood to others. We are already at the door. Won't you invite me in to take a look? The old man seemed to realize Liamo's nervousness and said humorously, I came here with a cameraman today. If you are too stingy today, the whole country will see it. Cameraman? Liamo saw the reporters next to him carrying long guns and short guns in their hands and shoulders. A strange question came to his mind, and he asked boldly, if this experiment fails, will the interview footage still appear in the news program? As the initiator of the experiment, Liamo knew that today's experiment had a great chance of failure. Failure? Seeing his serious expression, the old man instantly understood his concerns and laughed heartily. After laughing, the old man asked seriously, do you know what Chinese scientists lack the most? What do they need? Money? Every year, the country invests nearly 2 trillion yuan in scientific research funds. If it is evenly distributed to 1.3 billion people, each person will get more than 1,500 yuan. Such a huge number is not too much for China, which is still a developing country. Status? At present, all parts of the country are eager for talents and have introduced various preferential policies. Liamo thought about it and found that in the current environment of China, a scientist who devotes himself to scientific research has everything. He shook his head. The old man looked at the sky with deep eyes and said slowly, what they lack most is courage. Dare to fail, the courage to fail. If you just choose some stable scientific research projects for the sake of pursuing success rate, such scientists are unqualified. Dare to fail. Liamo's eyes lit up, and the old man's words hit his heart directly. The Chinese people pay attention to the doctrine of the mean, not seeking no success, but seeking no failure. Therefore, some scientists are particularly cautious when choosing topics, and they will deliberately choose some topics with great confidence. What is science? Science is to explore the unknown. Since it is unknown, there must be no great confidence. Therefore, this golden mean has become an invisible shackle when exploring the truth of the universe. You said it very well. Thinking of this, he said sincerely. The old man waved his hand and asked with a smile, can I come in now? Liamo then found that all the staff in the yard were looking at him with strange eyes. He realized that in the eyes of the outside world, his behavior was intentional obstruction. Someone in China dared to stop this old man? Oh my god. What am I doing? He shouted silently in his heart. Please, please. Liamo immediately stepped aside. Under the bright sunshine, an energetic old man walked slowly forward. He walked very slowly and steadily. Behind him was a young man with a straight spine and a vigorous pace. The collider is currently running smoothly and is expected to be shut down in 30 minutes. In the hall, Zhang Xiaoli reported in standard Mandarin. The old man looked around and nodded with satisfaction. It seems that I came at the right time to know the results of the experiment. Liamo showed a shy expression on his face. He really had no confidence. In the hall of the computing center, when the busy staff saw a large group of people walking in, followed by a cameraman, they knew that someone came to inspect again. They were already accustomed to this kind of inspection, because this is one of the few collider centers in China. Moreover, the guests were accompanied by the temporary person in charge in person, and they had nothing to do. After a brief look back, they were all focused on the control panel again. They couldn't let the collider really explode. On the contrary, the employees of Mosey Technology Experiment showed excited expressions on their faces. Are you in charge here now? The old man was sensitive to the atmosphere in the hall. Liamo nodded. Yes, because this experiment takes too long. The original person in charge is not in good health, so I will temporarily replace him. The reason why he said this was to repay Wang Gong a favor. Chapter 282 Grandpa. Hearing Liamo's answer, the old man showed a thoughtful expression on his face. Are those people over there employees of your Mosey Technology Laboratory? The old man found that among the operators, who were working hard, there were a few idle young people who always peeked over here. These guys. Liamo waved helplessly. The laboratory employees couldn't wait to run over. The one in the front was Xiaoqing. Today, she had her long hair tied up, a little macupe, and a grey uniform suit, which was completely dressed like a workplace elite. Zia King walked over gracefully, suddenly smiled slightly, and shyly called out to the old man, "Grandpa." "Grandpa?" Liemo was stunned. The old man was Zia King's grandfather? Impossible. According to the information, Zia King's parents died in a mission, and she was raised by the comrades of the Security Bureau. This relative can't be randomly associated. Just when Liemo was about to reprimand, a hint of surprise appeared on the old man's thoughtful face. "Are you Kinga?" Zia King nodded eagerly. "I didn't expect that. Almost 20 years have passed, and the little girl who wanted to catch a toad in the pond to give to me has grown up." The old man's eyes showed the brilliance of memories. They really knew each other. Liemo had already understood that Zia King's adoptive father should have a good relationship with the old man. Zia King had seen the old man when she was a child and wanted to catch a toad for the old man. After looking at him carefully, the old man asked curiously, "I heard your father seem to say that you inherited your parents' mantle and entered the security department. Why are you here?" A red cloud climbed onto Zia King's fair cheek. She lowered her head and replied shyly, "The bureau sent me to protect Professor Lee." Later. Liemo saw Zia King's embarrassment and walked forward. "Ms. Zia King is currently the general manager of our Marxing Technology Company, responsible for the production and sales of Marxing batteries." The old man nodded with satisfaction. "It's not easy. You can control such a large company at such a young age. Heroes emerge from the youth. Also, your Marxing batteries are not simple either. How are the current sales?" This was a test of Zia King's homework, and Liemo's heart jumped. So far, Marxing batteries have sold 2.81 million units, of which 1.2 million units were sold domestically, and 1.61 million units were sold overseas. It is expected that with the completion of the new battery factory, Marxing battery sales will increase by 10%-20%. Zia King kept spouting specific figures, which was very professional. "Not bad. You are a qualified general manager," the old man praised. Zia King's eyebrows curved into crescents. "We can achieve such results mainly because of the good performance of Marxing batteries. Because Marxing technology adopts a dual track pricing, the price of Marxing batteries abroad is several times higher than the domestic price. But orders from abroad have been scheduled for 1 year. In order to ensure domestic user demand, we have tentatively decided to accept new orders from abroad." The old man nodded thoughtfully. "The main reason why you can adopt a dual track pricing system is that Marxing batteries have strong product strength." After speaking, he cast his eyes on Liemo. "This is why I came here to inspect today. Compared with Marxing batteries, quantum chips are more important and more significant." More important and more significant? This phrase seems to be meaningful when it comes from the old man's mouth. In order to withstand the pressure of foreign auto giants and allow Marxing batteries to be successfully sold and promoted, Liemo had to unite all domestic auto manufacturers. But quantum chips are different. They have shaken the chip monopoly of developed countries for decades from the foundation. Once those foreign high-tech giants find that the feast they are eating has been taken away by someone, what will be their reaction? Liemo never believed in the civilization promoted by the West because he had studied history and found that it was full of robbery and plunder. It was only in recent years that they put a beautiful appearance on this plunder. Liemo suddenly realized. He thought for a moment and looked at the old man sincerely. The quantum chip project is just a scientific experiment of Mosey Technology Laboratory. We are not interested in the specific operation. So, after the chip is developed, Mosey Technology will hand over the leading rights of the chip to the right company. Liemo thought he had perfectly interpreted the old man's intention, but he didn't expect that after hearing his words. The old man showed a trace of anger on his face. The reason why I'm here is because the ongoing experiment is related to China's future 100-year plan. Instead of picking peaches. So, I understand your idea. Seeing the awkward atmosphere between the two, Zia King next to them said, Grandpa. Liemo didn't mean that. He is just a nerd and is not interested in operating a company. How about this? We can integrate domestic chip companies and Mosey Technology will establish a joint company by investing in technology. This will not only quickly promote quantum chips, but also effectively resist the attacks of those giants. Zia King's analysis attracted frequent nods from Liemo and the old man. The fate of the quantum chip that has not yet been born has been determined in the future. At this time, Jing Jing and the three brothers of Yande saw Zia King chatting with the old man, and they were shocked. I didn't expect that she had such a deep background. They kept stealing glances at Liemo. Liemo understood and said to the old man with a smile, "This is the elite of our laboratory. They know you are here, so they came to say hello." The old man raised his hand to signal the experimenters. He said hello to me. My god. Zhao Mingru jumped up excitedly. "It's me," he said, "hello to me." Jing Jing next to him retorted. Liemo looked at the scene in front of him and smiled slightly. "Attention everyone. The collider is about to shut down. Due to unknown safety hazards, please stay away from the collision room." In the computing hall, Zhang Xianli issued a broadcast warning again. The young secretary behind the old man heard the warning. His face changed, and he stepped in front of the old man. Seeing this scene, Liemo said embarrassedly, "It's okay, this is just a precaution." The old man waved his arm gently to signal. "What are you afraid of? Don't you see that this year's Nobel Prize winner is also standing here?" The young man reluctantly withdrew. "Our experimental plan is too complicated, so the safety protection system of the collider was triggered." Zia King explained beside him. The old man nodded slightly and asked curiously, "I wonder what method you use to maintain the quantum state of the particles." An expert knows whether there is one or not as soon as he makes a move. The question raised by the old man made Liemo understand that the old man is quite knowledgeable about quantum chips. At his suggestion, Zia King explained generously, "It's like this. Our Professor Lee designed an ingenious system. Quantum entanglement is used here. Then we use 3 to 5 particles to fuse." The old man nodded frequently in thought. "Finally, if the experiment goes well, we will get a fused atom with a relative mass of 512. This atom will have all the characteristics of a core particle of a quantum chip." Zia King explained the entire experimental concept in full. "Second. Wonderful." The old man looked at Liemo with a fiery look. "When I saw the plan handed over by Leo Wang, I thought the plan above was just a fantasy. I didn't expect that there would be such a wonderful idea in the world." Chapter 283 Experiment Success. The collider has been shut down, and the results are being calculated. As Zhang Xiaoli announced, everyone in the hall of the computing center looked at the large screen hanging in the center. The old man also stepped forward and joined the team of people paying attention. Liemo clenched his fist slightly, and his mood suddenly became a little nervous. Alert. Abnormal matter appeared in the collision chamber, and the preliminary analysis showed that it was a single atomic group. Alert. Abnormal matter appeared in the collision chamber, and the preliminary analysis showed that it was a single atomic group. Suddenly, a line of warning text appeared on the big screen. Wow. Did it really come out? It's amazing. It's amazing. There were bursts of exclamations in the hall. According to the experimental design and the indestructible nature of matter in the collider, the single atomic group in the collision chamber can only be the atomic fusion they have been looking for. Liemo couldn't suppress his excitement and waved his arms and cheered. Suddenly, a fragrant breeze blew, and the soft jade entered his arms. A beautiful lady excitedly threw herself into his arms. It was Zia King. Liemo held the beautiful lady in his arms, and like a thief, he couldn't help but secretly look around. Fortunately, everyone was cheering for the experimental results. No. Liemo turned his head quietly, and sure enough, the distinguished old man was clapping and looking at him. Why was he clapping? Ahem. Liemo immediately coughed a few times. The soft jade in his arms also realized the crowd around him, and quickly let go of his arms, lowered his head, and tidied his hair. The old man stepped forward and asked jokingly, "Is this experiment a play? Acting? Acting with a collider? Acting with a quantum chip?" Liemo immediately shook his head and denied it. "Absolutely, absolutely not acting. The experiment can succeed so quickly, which is beyond my expectation. It seems that this is all the good luck brought by you." Facing this kind old man, Liemo also made a joke. After getting a definite answer, the old man's face became serious and stretched out his right hand. Then I would like to congratulate the Yanjing Mosey Science and Technology Laboratory for the complete success of the experiment and wish you more success on the road of science. Suddenly, flashes of light went off and several cameras flashed indicator lights. Liemo knew that this scene would soon appear in the news program, so he bowed slightly and saluted. "Thank you for your support." The old man and the young man held their hands tightly together. At this time, everyone who came back to their senses from the cheers saw this scene. Isn't that? They also recognized the old man who often appeared on TV, but they didn't expect him to come to the experimental site. "Hello, everyone. You have worked hard." The old man raised his hand to indicate, "Not hard." A uniformed voice came from the crowd. Just as the old man was communicating cordially with everyone, the young secretary stepped forward. "Leader, it's getting late, and you still have a foreign affairs event." The old man nodded slightly. "Then I won't delay your work. When the quantum chip is mass produced, I will definitely send a congratulatory message in person." Liemo knew that the old man was busy with all kinds of things, and it was a great honor for Mosey Technology Laboratory to appear here. The secretary next to the old man handed over a personal business card with a smile. Liemo hurriedly reached out and took it, and carefully put it in the business card holder. Ziyking, immediately organize people to analyze the abnormal substances found in the collision chamber. After the old man left, Liemo immediately started working mode. "Okay, boss." Ziyking replied shyly, the afterglow still on her face. Zalmingru, here. Immediately and completely destroy the experimental steps stored in the collider. Liemo issued the order again. "Yes." Zalmingru took the order and left. Jingjing, here. Immediately recover all the experimental materials. "Yes." Jingjing took the order and left. As the orders were issued one after another, the members of the entire laboratory became busy. They needed to completely erase the traces of the experiment in the shortest possible time, so as to prevent some people with ulterior motives from following the map. Professor Lee, was the experiment successful? After receiving the news from his subordinates, Engineer Wang hurried over. Liemo nodded, pointed to the big screen and said, "Abnormal matter appeared in the collider." Engineer Wang naturally knew what abnormal matter meant, and he said enviously, "Congratulations to Professor Lee for his new achievement." Also, Engineer Wang hesitated. "I heard that the person was here just now, right?" "Well, the old man is here too, and he gave a high evaluation of your work." Liemo smiled slightly. He knew what Engineer Wang was worried about. "Thank you then." Engineer Wang understood the meaning of Liemo's words instantly and said gratefully. Liemo waved his hand and turned to walk out of the hall. At such a young age, he can already chat and laugh with that person. Incredible, incredible. Engineer Wang looked at his back as he left, feeling endless emotion in his heart. Villa Manor in Western M Country. Good evening, audience friends. First of all, let me introduce the main content of this program. Warmly celebrate the success of the quantum chip experiment of Yanjing Science and Technology Laboratory in China, and meet scientist Liemo cordially at the experimental site. Please watch the specific content below. As the host broadcasted, a tall and strong old man appeared on the TV screen. He was shaking hands with a slightly nervous young man. It is reported that the quantum chip of Mosey Technology Laboratory adopts a new design concept, which overcomes the current difficulty of quantum core particles, to maintain the determination of quantum state. The new quantum chip will be able to operate at normal temperature and pressure. In front of the TV, a foreign old man with blonde hair, hooked nose, and wrinkled face, was staring at the TV screen with anger. When the crowd in the picture cheered, he could no longer suppress his anger. Bang! The crystal cup on the coffee table fell to the floor, and the fragments flew everywhere. "Dear, why are you angry again?" A young woman came in after hearing the voice. She had a devilishly hot figure, a big wavy golden curly hair that shone brightly, and her white and slender thighs were wearing a black ultra-short miniskirt and high-heeled shoes. She swayed intentionally or unintentionally when she walked, revealing her plump buttocks. Good-for-nothings. A bunch of good-for-nothings. The foreign old man looked at the sexy woman and his expression eased a lot. "Why did you find a bunch of rubbish like Scorpio? A practical quantum chip? Tut tut. The military should have been asked to take action directly at the beginning." the foreign old man said with some regret. Seeing this, the sexy woman dived into his arms like a beautiful snake, stroked his chest with her slender fingers like onions, and licked her blood-red lips with her long tongue. I told you a long time ago that those people in the Foundation are unreliable. They are too comfortable now. As she said that, she leaned close to the foreign old man's ear and whispered, "Why not let my people kill that scientist on TV?" A fierce light that was inconsistent with his age flashed in the foreign old man's eyes, but then he shook his head. Too late. Too late. No one in the world dares to assassinate a Nobel Prize winner, because this is undoubtedly declaring war on the entire scientific community. The sexy woman twisted in his arms and raised her red lips in dissatisfaction. If you don't want to kill, then don't kill. Is there any need to say so much? The foreign old man twisted the woman's white neck with his wrinkled palms, looked at her panicked eyes. His face was serious, and he said word by word, "Don't mess around." The woman nodded repeatedly in horror. A pair of big hands patted her plump buttocks with satisfaction. A cheerful voice came from the villa, and the two well-dressed men at the door smiled at each other. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 284 5-Element Atomic Group. In the Yanjing Mosi Technology Laboratory, Xiaoqing handed a thick stack of information to Liemo. According to the analysis, the abnormal substances in the collision chamber are copper 4, lead 1, nitrogen 1, carbon 1, magnesium 1, a new atomic fusion composed of 5 atoms. Liemo quickly converted in his mind. The relative atomic mass of 4 copper atoms is 254. 1 lead atom is 207.5. 1 nitrogen atom is 14. 1 carbon atom is 12. 1 magnesium atom is 24.5, and they add up to exactly 512. Perfect experiment, perfect result. This is the core particle of the quantum computer he is looking for. Should we give this atomic fusion a new name? Xiaoqing asked softly. Liemo nodded. Once the quantum computer is released, this atomic fusion will surely be famous in the world, and a sharp name will help promote it. Is it called copper 4, lead 1, nitrogen 1, carbon 1, magnesium 1? It's too long, and Liemo rejected it before he said it. What's a good name? This atomic fusion is like his child. Every parent will give their children a name that contains good wishes and profound meanings. Got it? Liemo's eyes lit up, and he looked at Xiaoqing and said, how about calling it the 5-element atomic cluster? 5-element atomic cluster? It is composed of 5 kinds of atoms, and ancient Chinese philosophers use the 5-element theory to explain the formation of all things in the world and their interrelationships. It's very suitable. Xiaoqing nodded frequently. Liemo showed a stiff smile on his face, and 10,000 horses ran through his mind. The reason why it was named 5-element atomic cluster was purely because it was composed of 5 kinds of atoms, and 5-element atomic cluster sounded cool. Xiaoqing actually pulled out the ancient 5-element theory. Beep beep, new task completed. As Xiaoqing just closed the door and left, the system prompt sounded in Liemo's mind. So impatient, Pajero. Pajero. Liemo muttered in his heart. Grey fog filled the air, and a pink learning machine in the shape of a rabbit appeared in front of him. The rabbit's ears flashed pink light and swayed up and down, just like a hat of a certain internet celebrity. The big-headed Pajero man modified the learning machine again. This is too bad taste. As a straight man, Liemo did not appreciate the masterpiece of the aliens too much, and directly clicked on task options. Task. Towards the pinnacle of computing requirements, invent a quantum computer that can be used for commercial purposes. Progress. 100% reward. 500,000 subject experience points, already issued, 1 ordinary lottery. Then, click on character attributes. Current character attributes. 1. Mathematics level. 7. 101500/1 million. 2. Physics level. 5. 102000/200,000. 3. Chemistry level 4. 2000/100,000. 4. Biology level. 4. 2000/100,000. 5. Intelligence level. 5 available points. 500,000. Sharpening the knife does not delay the work of chopping wood. Mathematics, as the most basic science, is a tool for all subjects. Liemo decided to take the lead in upgrading the mathematics subject to level 8. Character attributes after adding 1. Mathematics level 7. 60-1500/1 million. 2. Physics level 5. 10-2000/200,000. 3. Chemistry level 4. 2000/100,000. 4. Biology level 4. 2000/100,000. 5. Intelligence level 5 available points. 0 system prompt. You have one ordinary lottery chance. Do you want to draw now? Draw now. The lottery wheel flashing with colorful light appeared in front of him. The green, orange, yellow, green, blue, ingot and purple big-headed Pajero people even modified the appearance of the lottery wheel. Vulgar. Liemo shook his head. Prizes. 1. A Pajero Big Eye Space-Time Field Detection System. 2. A JIME 18723 spacecraft. 3. An R-18 Deep Space Probe. 4. A superquantum computer of level 2 civilization. 5. A set of technical drawings of the holographic scene of low-level civilization. 6. A drop of water for inspiration. Liemo suddenly found that the prizes on the abstract turntable this time were exactly the same as last time. What's going on? Is the system lazy? With such doubts, he gently turned the turntable, and the pointer spun rapidly. Congratulations on winning 6. A drop of water for inspiration. Wow. The prizes he got were the same. Liemo looked at the extra glass bottle in his hand speechlessly. What's going on? Usually, even if the prizes on the turntable cannot be drawn, the system will change the tricks tirelessly. This time, Liemo shook his head and decided not to dwell on this issue anymore, because the question time has begun. Can I start asking questions now? He began the routine questioning. Grey fog rolled on the high platform, and the slightly tired voice of the big-headed Pajero came out. Please ask questions. Before the questioning begins, I would like to make a few suggestions. Of course, these suggestions are not the questions I want to ask this time. Liemo first said a long paragraph of awkward words, because the big-headed Pajero has a history of cheating. Please speak. The voice of the big-headed Pajero man came from the high platform. Ahem. Liemo cleared his throat and said, first, I'm extremely dissatisfied with the appearance of the learning assistance system. I have tolerated the pink bunny, but what are those ears that swing up and down? Is it a cute girl's heart? Second, what's the matter with the prizes on the lucky draw wheel that are exactly the same? Are you being lazy? As for the colorful marquee on the lucky draw wheel just now, Liemo did not mention it at all, because he felt that with the marquee, it actually felt like a big prize. Silence, silence. Liemo waited patiently. Finally, the big-headed Pajero man spoke. At present, the changes to the learning assistance system are entirely the responsibility of the system itself, so I'm sorry for the troubles you encountered during use. I don't know. It's not my business. I'm sorry. This is completely the golden 3-line sentence for shirking problems in society. The big-headed Pajero man's meaning is very clear. That is, either don't use the system, or endure the shortcomings of the system. Well, Liemo happily chose to accept the shortcomings of the system. The bunny ears that swing up and down are so cute, and they sparkle. As for the duplicate prizes, I can't draw them anyway, so out of sight, out of mind. The system is so user-friendly. Then I will formally raise this question now. After finishing self-consolation, Liemo raised this question. Are the technological roots of civilizations in the universe the same or similar? In the stories told by the big-headed Pajero people, the development of most civilizations follows the same development route. Primitive intelligent civilization can make and use tools. Level 1 civilization, planetary civilization, fully utilizing the energy on the planet and becoming the master of the planet. Level 2 civilization, stellar civilization, controlling the perseverance of the place. Level 3 civilization, galaxy civilization, controlling the entire galaxy including the use of black holes. Level 4 civilization, cosmic civilization, developing and utilizing the energy of the entire galaxy. Level 5 civilization, dimensional civilization, able to travel through dimensions. Higher level civilizations have surpassed Liamo's imagination. In his impression, the big-headed Pajero people only mentioned 2 unprofessional level 8 civilizations in vague terms: library civilization, story lovers, keen on collecting various stories, and cedar civilization, poverty alleviation office, launching oil meteorites to planets where wisdom sprouts. So now the question is, do these civilizations follow the same law of development? Is there a civilization that can skip the long stage of level 1 civilization and directly enter level 2 civilization? If such a civilization exists, can the Earth copy its route? This is why Liamo raised this question. Chapter 285 Hyperspace Drive. Grey fog filled the high platform. Perhaps it was because the question was too imaginative. The big-headed Pajero spent a lot more time thinking than before. We, the Perojas, have not encountered a similar civilization. Finally, the voice of the big-headed Pajero came from the grey fog. There is no such civilization? Liamo's heart tightened. Was the hope of copycat shattered? But we once exchanged a story with the library civilization, which may be related to your question. At this time, the voice of the big-headed Pajero sounded in his ears again. According to the general rules of the universe, I cannot deliberately conceal or deliberately give a wrong answer, so I will repeat the story to you in full next. Liamo was shocked. The stories stored in the library civilization were all real historical records of civilization. It seemed that Copycat had a chance. This story took place in the Hillronimus starfield. Of course, we, the Pagerus, have not visited this starfield. According to the records of the library, the Hillronimus starfield is located in a remote corner of the universe. It is separated from the prosperous central galaxy by a Stellus belt with a width of hundreds of light years. Do you know what a Stellus belt means? Asked the big-headed Pajero. Liamo nodded. Just like chess pieces scattered at random, the distribution of stars in the universe is not uniform. Sometimes there are often blank areas without any planets within dozens of light years. This blank area is called the Stellus belt, but hundreds of light years. This span is too large. Since the spacecraft cannot get any supplies in the Stellus belt, or use the energy of any star, extraterritorial civilizations rarely visit the Hillronimus starfield. The big-headed Pajero continued to narrate. This Stellus belt with a width of hundreds of light years protects the Hillronimus starfield, or it can be said that it separates it from the world of cosmic civilization. Liamo thought of this situation that also existed on Earth. In North America before the Great Voyages, due to the vast Atlantic Ocean, when humans in other regions of the Earth had entered the civilized era, those happy Indians were still in primitive society. There were originally hundreds of civilizations in the Hillronimus starfield, and the strongest among them was the Roland civilization, which had the most advanced spacecraft. After tens of thousands of years of expansion, the Roland civilization occupied most of the large resource-rich stars in the starfield, and enslaved more than 100 civilized races around it. In the Hillronimus starfield, it no longer had any rivals, nor any planets worthy of its conquest. A civilization that almost dominated the entire starfield. Liamo suddenly became interested and asked eagerly, does the development of the Roland civilization not conform to the conventional civilization route? The big-headed Pajero paused, but did not answer his question, but continued, with the growing strength, the Roland people have set their sights on the Irie civilization, the closest extraterritorial civilization to the Hillronimus starfield. The Stellus belt of hundreds of light years is not a problem at all in front of their proud hyperspace engine. A hyperspace engine that can easily cross hundreds of light years. Why don't the Pajero people use this hyperspace engine to protect or kidnap themselves? These two methods are much safer than sending a big-headed person who can only tell stories. If one day, the fate of the Earthlings is suddenly decided by a guy, the armies of the world will definitely control this unfortunate guy the first time. They will never let him walk around happily outside. Liamo thought of this and asked directly, why don't you Pajero civilization use hyperspace engines? This hyperspace engine is a space jump technology that we Pajero people have not mastered. As for the reason, you will understand it after you listen to the whole story. The big-headed Pajero explained. Like the prelude to many wars, the Roland civilization launched an unmanned exploration spacecraft. After hundreds of anti-tracking changes in course that were set in advance, this spacecraft finally arrived at the Irie planet. The exploration spacecraft sent back news that excited the entire Roland civilization. That is, the Irie civilization is still in the first level civilization stage and has not even left its home planet. Naturally, there are no spaceships. Their most advanced means of transportation is a slow spacecraft in the atmosphere. A first-level civilization, without a spaceship, is too similar to the Earth. Liemo was shocked and couldn't help but worry about the future fate of the Irie civilization. The big-headed Pajero sighed. In the universe, being weak is a sin. A weak and low-level civilization, a planet that can be used as a springboard to attack extraterritorial civilizations. These two reasons are enough to excite the aggressive Roland people. In order to express their importance to the first extraterritorial expedition, the Roland people specially organized a large team capable of sweeping across the Hillronymous starfield. It consists of tens of thousands of spaceships equipped with the latest hyperspace engines, and there are more than 50 million elite Roland warriors on the spaceships. In the words of the Roland people, it is the glory of the Irie civilization to be extinct under such a powerful force. Robbery. Robbery. This is completely a robbery. The cruel side of the universe is vividly demonstrated in the Roland people. Liemo has unknowingly put himself in the role of the Irie people, who are also a first-level civilization. Big-headed Pajero didn't know what he was thinking, and continued to narrate slowly. After 2 years of non-stop jumping, tens of thousands of Roland spacecraft appeared in the outer starfield for the first time. They looked at the khaki planet in front of them and roared. At this time, the intelligent creatures on the planet Irie also discovered the huge fleet that suddenly appeared, and they issued friendly greetings. In the face of absolute strength, any beautiful language is so pale and powerless. I see. I come. I conquer. This is the message from Emperor Roland the Conqueror to the Irie people. Tens of thousands of spacecraft rushed straight to the planet Irie. The whole process went smoothly. Just like the results sent back by the exploration spacecraft, the Irie civilization did not have any spacecraft, so they were in outer space without any obstruction. Seeing this situation, Emperor Roland the Conqueror ordered the reserve warships to join the battlefield. He wanted to quickly eliminate any living life on the planet Irie. It was enough to have only the Rolands on this planet. When the Roland soldiers on the spaceship could clearly see the scene on the ground through the glass windows, the Irie people resisted, and the rocket with flames at the tail attacked the Roland spaceship directly. The battle-hardened spaceship commander smiled slightly and ordered the spaceship to dodge 30 degrees. He had seen this kind of attack method a lot in the war in the Hillronymous starfield. It's just that this is an extraterritorial starfield. After a few seconds, the Roland spaceship that had already made evasive action was accurately hit by the Irie rocket. The smile on the captain's face has turned into horror. The rocket can turn and track automatically. Aren't rockets that can turn and track automatically just missiles on Earth? In order to defend against missiles, Earth civilization has invented several anti-missile systems. Roland spaceships with cross-galaxy capabilities should not have the means to defend against missiles. Liemo had another doubt in his mind. The big-headed Pajero continued, with a loud bang and a ball of sparks. The Roland spaceship carrying millions of people turned into ashes in the air. This strange rocket caused millions of compatriots to lose their lives in an instant, which brought great psychological shock to the Roland people. All the Roland people thought that it would be better to force a landing on the ground. The Conqueror Emperor is worthy of being a general who has experienced many battles. He made the most reasonable judgment in an instant that those rockets would stall when flying in a vertical direction. He ordered all Roland spacecraft to abandon the comfortable anti-gravity landing and adopt vertical landing. Sure enough, except for some unlucky people who were hit by the terrible rocket, most of the Roland spacecraft survived. Chapter 286, Matchlock Gun. Big-headed Pajero continued to preach. With a violent turbulence, the spaceship of Emperor Roland Conqueror finally landed on the ground. This was the first time, since he joined the army, that he cheered for a successful landing. Although the spaceship suffered a lot of losses in the air, with the excellent formation of Roland soldiers, they will easily defeat the Irie people. On the day of victory, he must use the blood of all Irie people to commemorate the sacrificed soldiers. The Conqueror Emperor took the walkie-talkie and issued the first and only order. The whole army set out freely and defeat the enemy with an O-urging formation. Alarms sounded everywhere, and teams of neatly arranged soldiers rushed out of the spaceship with weapons on their backs. In fact, when the Roland people invaded the enemy, the commander did not need to issue any orders, because no enemy could withstand the impact of millions of Roland soldiers holding the most advanced weapons. This small accident in the air awakened the Conqueror Emperor. In order to be safe, he asked the soldiers to use a no-urging formation to fight the enemy. Under the escort of his personal guards, the Conqueror Emperor set foot on the land of Irie Star. He prostrated himself on the ground and kissed the yellow earth. He was the first Roland person to kiss an extraterritorial planet, and this would become a topic of conversation for him at noble gatherings. Millions of Roland soldiers lined up in a no-rush formation, holding shiny black weapons and marching with tenacious steps. The war had begun, a war that made the Conqueror Emperor's blood boil. He, who had always been self-disciplined, refused the chair and drinks sent by his guards. He wanted to stand with the brave Roland soldiers. He, the Conqueror Emperor, was a good general with outstanding merits, diligence, self-discipline, and love for the people like his own children. Da-da-da-da. A loud noise interrupted the Conqueror Emperor's fantasy. He looked into the distance and saw bursts of gunpowder smoke in front of him. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. The loud noise was getting closer and closer, and the Conqueror Emperor frowned. He had never heard such a sound before. A terrible thought rose from the bottom of his heart. Could it be the weapon of the Irie people? Impossible. He shook his head quickly. It would take at least hundreds of Roland people's most advanced weapons, matchlock guns, to fire at the same time to make such a terrifying sound. It is absolutely impossible for the Irie people to have such advanced weapons. Liamo's heart jumped when he heard this. Damn, the most advanced weapon of Roland civilization is actually a matchlock gun. If the Pajero people said that the Roland people were holding photon cannons, black hole generators, electromagnetic guns, and even GD lightsabers, he would not be surprised, because the Roland civilization with the ability to cross galaxies is obviously a third-level civilization. But their weapons are ancient matchlock guns, an ancient firearm that has long been extinct on Earth. Liamo interrupted the Pajero's story and asked, is the Roland people's most advanced weapon the matchlock gun? The same as I thought. The big-headed Pajero replied, it is exactly the kind of firearm you imagined. It is 3 feet long, straight on the outside, with a tube on the inside, and relies on a burning matchlock to ignite the gunpowder. A well-trained shooter can fire 2 to 3 bullets per minute, with a range of about 100 to 200 meters. Of course, the Roland people's improved matchlock gun may be more powerful. The most powerful is only the matchlock gun. How could a third-level civilization use such a weapon? Just as Liamo was about to blurt out this question, he suddenly thought of the question he asked this time. Could it be that the Roland people are a parallel imported third-level civilization? After answering his question, Big Head Pajero continued to narrate. Just when Emperor Roland the Conqueror was suspicious, the panicked voice of the officer in front sounded in the intercom. Report. Report to the general. We are under fierce attack. The guns of the Irie people can fire dozens of bullets without reloading, and our casualties are heavy. It's terrible. Guns that can be fired without reloading? How can such a weapon exist? Is it that the soldiers in front are shirking responsibility? Emperor Roland the Conqueror shouted into the intercom. What about the no-urging formation? Why don't you use the no-urging formation of matchlock guns? The intercom replied, our soldiers are arranged in 3 rows according to the formation, ready to shoot at intervals, but the range of the guns used by the Irie people exceeds 800 meters, and our soldiers were harvested by them before they even get close. The invincible no-urging formation is useless. Calm down. Calm down. The ruler of more than 100 planets, Emperor Roland the Conqueror, thought for a moment while holding the intercom, and issued a new order. Hold on, you must use your body to resist the enemy's attack. Roland is with you. The panicked voice of the officer came from the intercom. Hold on. Hold on. Ah. Emperor Roland the Conqueror's heart jumped. What kind of planet is this? It actually has such a terrifying weapon. In the distance, smoke billowed and flames shot out. He kept telling himself in his heart, Roland will win. The third level Roland civilization will definitely crush these bugs. At this moment, an armored oversized matchlock cannon cart appeared in front of him, and the black barrel flashed coldly. Perhaps it was the golden armor of Emperor Roland the Conqueror that made Irie in the matchlock cannon cart realize that his identity was different. The barrel of the armored matchlock cannon turned and aimed at the guards rushing from a distance. Boom. The armored matchlock gun carriage emitted a burst of fire, and the huge shell rushed out of the barrel and flew straight into the distance. After 0.5 seconds, the hillside where the guards were located was razed to the ground. It was too terrifying, too terrible, and too horrifying. Emperor Roland the Conqueror prostrated himself on the ground without hesitation. This was the recognized surrender posture in the Hieronymus Starfield. He kept hoping in his heart that these Irie people could understand his intentions. He didn't want to die under the devilish weapons. A team of soldiers emerged from the matchlock gun carriage. The strange weapons in their hands should be the kind of matchlock guns that can fire bullets continuously. But where is the matchlock? Although Emperor Roland the Conqueror was crawling on the ground, his eyes kept sneaking glances. Bug, are you the owner of these spaceships? Asked a soldier who looked like a leader. Your Excellency Irie, the bug is their leader. We come from the distant Roland star and come here purely for friendship. Emperor Roland Conqueror did not mind being called a bug at this time, although the last Moko who secretly cursed him behind his back had already turned into ashes in the galaxy. The leader soldier nodded. Take him away. Emperor Roland Conqueror was put on a hood and stuffed into the matchlock cannon cart. Buzz with a huge roar, Emperor Roland Conqueror was taken to a bunker hundreds of kilometers away. Bright lights, automatically opened sensor doors. Everything made him feel new. What surprised Emperor Roland Conqueror was that he was actually locked in a room made of glass. What a waste of resources. Glass, a precious resource, should only be used on the outer shell of the spacecraft. Such a large piece of glass is too luxurious. Chapter 287 Ball Rape. This magical substance that allows light to penetrate without hindrance has statistical uniformity of its internal molecules in space. Its refractive index, hardness, elastic modulus, thermal expansion coefficient, thermal conductivity, electrical conductivity, etc. are the same in all directions. These characteristics of glass determine that it can be the best material that can isolate space without affecting the transmission of light. Imagine what it feels like to stay in a light-proof stuffy spaceship for several years. Therefore, even the most stingy generals will equip their spaceships with a palm-sized glass window. It allows those soldiers who are about to fight for their lives to enjoy the last beauty of their lives. Unfortunately, in the Roland Civilization Empire, only the 2 asteroids ruled by Prince Morisado have mines that produce glass. It is these glass mines that have allowed this family, which has produced playboys for generations, to be passed down for tens of thousands of years. Even among the nobles, there is a widely circulated rumor that the first head of Morisado is actually the illegitimate son of the emperor. It's a pity to install such a large piece of glass here. It's really a waste of resources. In the mind of the Conqueror Emperor, a scene of watching the star storm through such a large piece of glass in the command cabin of the spacecraft has appeared. Just as he was studying the glass with his 2 big claws, 2 Irie people dressed as civilians pushed open the door. Roland the Conqueror Emperor keenly realized that they should be the leaders of the Irie people, although he didn't understand why the leaders here were wearing civilian clothes. Dear Irie people, I bring greetings from the Roland civilization. Our Roland civilization comes from the distant Hieronymus Starfield. We have more than 100,000 planets and are a peace-loving nation. The Conqueror Emperor took the initiative to perform a prostrate salute. Peace-loving? What is this? The leading Irie tapped lightly on a rectangular box with a screen, and a voice came out of the box. I see. I come. I conquer. This is misunderstanding. This is a complete misunderstanding. How can it take more than 50 million soldiers to conquer a planet? The conqueror's 6 huge eyes turned around. Although he was captured, there were still tens of millions of soldiers outside. Even if the Irie had advanced weapons, these Roland soldiers were enough to cause them great trouble, and this was what the conqueror relied on. Unexpectedly, the Irie smiled slightly when he heard this. 50 million? It should be 45 million, because we only saw 45 million corpses. Hearing the number of 45 million, the conqueror collapsed to the ground like a deflated toy doll, because he really only brought 45 million people with him this time. According to the routine operation of Roland Star, every general who went on an expedition would lie about the number of people in exchange for more military expenses. From the time he entered the atmosphere to the time he was captured, it was less than 24 hours. 45 million Roland soldiers were wiped out by these Irie people in front of him. Even if the Roland people used matchlock guns to slaughter the defenseless cuckoo chickens on the pheasant planet, they could not reach such a fast speed. They are all demons. Demons. And the wisest way to face demons is to surrender. The conqueror emperor supported his body with one claw, slowly climbed up, and opened his mouth wide. What do you want to know? You can ask now. The 2 Irie people looked at each other. How did you cross the Stellus belt? Hyperspace engine. Our spaceships are all equipped with hyperspace engines. The conqueror emperor replied. The 2 Irie people frowned at the same time. Can you describe the principle of the hyperspace engine in detail? The conqueror emperor's eyes lit up. These Irie people have super matchlock guns that do not need to be reloaded, matchlock gun carts that can move with armor, and rockets that can track automatically, but they don't understand hyperspace engines. This is incredible. Is there no meteor with high frequency in the starry sky of Irie? Is there not even the dumbest astronomer among the Irie people? You know, hyperspace engine technology is the first technology developed by all civilizations in the Hieronymus starfield. After entering the first level civilization, a civilization without hyperspace engine technology can only passively wait for the enemy's attack on the mother planet. It is precisely because of the development of enhanced hyperspace engine technology that the Roland civilization has created a spaceship that can accommodate 5 million matchlock soldiers and then use the airborne mode to conquer the entire starfield. The Irie civilization actually does not have hyperspace engine technology, which makes the conqueror emperor secretly happy. The captives who can survive must have the value of their existence. Thinking of this, he slowly said, if you want to know the principle, you must send me back to the spaceship. Otherwise, all you will leave is a Roland corpse. At this time, he perfectly showed the temperament of the Roland soldiers who swear to die. As a general commanding tens of millions of soldiers, he would rather die standing than live on his knees. The conqueror emperor had rich experience in negotiations. He believed that this would be a turning point in fate, so after making his request, he looked at the Irie people with a provocative look. The 2 Irie people smiled at each other and shook their heads at the same time. Naive, do you think that all 45 million Roland bugs have been killed? Among the many captives, there must be someone who knows the principle of the hyperspace engine. The conqueror emperor was shocked. In negotiations, the biggest taboo is that the trump card has already been known by the opponent. In this case, the wisest way is to surrender. Just a joke. I want to test your sense of humor. The conqueror emperor's 6 eyes desperately moved to the middle and made a flattering expression. As an outstanding graduate of Roland First University, I naturally understand the hyperspace engine. At the same time, in line with the principle of loving the people like my own children, I will not bother those ordinary soldiers. I will teach you the principle now. After thinking for a while, he added, with the hyperspace engine, you have a pass to enter the universe. Maybe you will have the idea of fighting back against Roland civilization. Because the spacecraft made by the hateful Roland civilization smashed the flowers and plants on the Irie planet. As a cosmic person who upholds justice, I very much agree with your counterattack. Ball rapist. Standard ball rapist. The 2 Irie people opposite looked at each other in confusion. This Roland ball rapist was too shameless. The conqueror emperor did not know what they were thinking and continued to fantasize about the great plan. Of course, as one of the most meritorious generals among the hundreds of generals of Roland, I know the military deployment of the entire Roland civilization very well. Roland civilization has 1 billion elite soldiers. Even if you have terrifying weapons that can flatten small hills, you will have to pay a huge price to completely conquer the entire Hieronymus starfield. At this time, he finally stated his purpose. If you use me as a guide, you will definitely get twice the result with half the effort, and minimize the losses. After saying that, he stared at the opposite side with 6 huge eyes nervously. He knew that his fate was controlled by these 2 Irie people. The Irie people sitting opposite him tried their best to suppress their inner joy. When the huge Roland fleet appeared in outer space, all Irie people fell into panic. When this wonderful conqueror emperor rejected the friendly request of the Irie people and issued a war declaration of I come, I conquer, the world government announced the news of the alien invasion to all Irie people. All experts and scholars have put forward the same view, that is, the Irie people, a first-level civilization, will have no power to fight back against the third-level civilization with the ability to fly across galaxies. Therefore, the Irie people hid the old, weak, and sick in the bunker, looking for any tools that can be used as weapons, and they will fight the invaders to the death. The entire Irie world was filled with panic. They had no illusions about victory. The turning point happened after the first missile hit the huge alien spaceship. The commander of the Irie army was surprised to find that these alien spaceships had no protection capabilities, which was completely inconsistent with their fantasy about the strength of the third-level civilization. What surprised the Irie people even more was that the alien soldiers who appeared on the ground were holding ancient single-shot matchlock guns. The subsequent war presented a situation of one-sided massacre. The massacrers were the Irie people, and the massacred were aliens. The 2 Irie leaders recalled the dramatic process of the entire war, looked at the general in front of them who was determined to be a bold traitor, and smiled at each other. Could it be that this third-level alien civilization came from hundreds of light years away to send warmth? 50 years later, the Irie spacecraft equipped with a hyperspace engine appeared in the Hieronymus starfield for the first time 200 years later. The flags of the Irie people flew over all the resource stars in the Hieronymus starfield. So far, the big-headed Pajero man retold the whole story in full, and at the end he added, according to the analysis of the Pajero Academy of Sciences, the technological development of civilizations in the Hieronymus starfield generally adopted a leapfrog approach. They discovered the hyperspace engine technology without completing the first-level civilization process, and had the ability to cross galaxies, and thus stepped into the threshold of the third-level civilization. But their true strength is not even as good as some civilizations in the middle stage of the first-level civilization. Liemo asked doubtfully, can we build spacecraft that cross galaxies without reaching the second-level civilization? In his impression, the development of science and technology is closely linked. For example, if you want to invent a car, you must first have wheels. If you want to invent a gun, you must first invent gunpowder. Of course, there are countless mysteries in the universe. Some of them are very complex and require a very high civilization foundation. However, the principles of some key cosmic mysteries are simple, but the way to obtain them is too accidental. Big Head Pajero explained. Liemo nodded. He could understand the description of the big head man. Sometimes, to solve a seemingly extremely difficult problem, all you need is inspiration. Chapter 288, Civilian Science Loves Beauty. New task released. Task: climb the peak of mathematics again. Description: every unsolved mathematical problem is a puzzle encountered by mankind in exploring the universe. They contain the mysteries of the universe, so real academic masters will take challenging unsolved problems as their goal. Requirements: completely solve the Goldbach conjecture. Reward: 500,000 subject experience points, 1 ordinary lottery. Time limit: 365 days. Accept, yes/no. Goldbach conjecture. When Liemo saw the new task, his heart skipped a beat, because this problem is too famous. How famous is it? Some good-hearted scholars have counted that the most studied problem by folk scientists around the world is the Goldbach conjecture. Every year, major mathematics magazines receive thousands of folk science papers claiming to have solved the Goldbach conjecture. There are even more questions from math enthusiasts on the internet. If I can prove the Goldbach conjecture in high school, will I be recommended by the Department of Mathematics of Tsinghua University and Peking University? If I can prove the Goldbach conjecture, Can I join the Chinese Academy of Sciences? Compared with other difficult mathematical problems, the Goldbach conjecture is the most favored by folk scientists. And this group of folk scientists even has a unique title, Goldbach conjecture family or Goldbach fan. So the question is, why do folk scientists prefer the Goldbach conjecture? To answer this question, we must know what folk scientists are. First of all, there is no clear official definition of folk scientists. Most folk scientists have low academic qualifications, have not received professional training, and have no intention of receiving scientific training. But they are fanatical about science, hoping to solve a major scientific problem in one fell swoop, or try to overthrow a major scientific theory, and are committed to establishing a huge scientific system. Secondly, not all scientists who are not engaged in scientific professions are amateur scientists. For example, Leonard Mlodinow, who co-authored A Brief History of Time, popular edition, with Hawking, is a well-known actor who has starred in Star Trek, The Next Generation. Physics is just his hobby, but in the process of research, he was too amateurish and accidentally became a famous physicist. So in short, the status of a folk scientist is not determined by his personal identity and profession, but by whether he strictly follows scientific laws in the process of raising and researching questions. The questions that amateur scientists like generally must have two elements. First, the questions must be simple. Of course, if you can't even understand the questions, no matter how amateurish you are, you can't start. The proposition of the Goldbach conjecture actually only requires you to have elementary school mathematics level to understand it. Its statement is extremely simple and easy to understand. Any even number greater than 2 can be expressed as the sum of two prime numbers. For example, 4 equals 2 plus 2, 6 equals 3 plus 3, 8 equals 3 plus 5, 10 equals 3 plus 7 second. The question must be famous, otherwise who would you prove it for? People come and go for profit. Folk scientists are not stupid. They will never focus their energy on a difficult problem with no reputation. Since Chinese mathematician Chen Shuxian proved the predecessor of Goldbach's conjecture. 1 plus 1 equals 2. The reputation of Goldbach's conjecture has risen sharply in China, far exceeding the other two problems of the same level. Goldbach's conjecture perfectly meets the requirements, and is naturally favored by folk scientists. But Liemo thinks there is another point. Goldbach's conjecture, this name is too cool. There is a Faustian temperament, baroque unruly, and a little bit of petty bourgeoisie in the gaps between the characters. What's wrong with folk scientists loving beauty? Maybe if the Goldbach conjecture is solved, those folk scientists will be unemployed, and then turn over a new leaf. Thinking of this, Liemo lightly clicked to accept the task. He has always liked to help others. However, before starting to crack the Goldbach conjecture, he has more important work to do, which is to find a suitable plot of land and build a new laboratory. Since the Mosey Technology Laboratory has made 2 achievements that can change the world in succession, its reputation has resounded at home and abroad, becoming one of the top laboratories in the world. This also attracted many scientists to come here, and some of them even came from large foreign laboratories. In order to join Mosey Technology, they were willing to give up the generous salaries abroad. At first, Liemo was skeptical of these scientists. After all, not everyone is like him, with noble and selfless qualities. Maybe these people entered the laboratory for other purposes? He asked Brother Hay to conduct a comprehensive investigation of these people. After investigation by professionals, hired by Brother Hay, it was found that most of these Chinese scientists who are currently working in foreign laboratories are talents trained in China. For the sake of generous salaries, they could not resist the temptation and went abroad. What they didn't expect was that in foreign laboratories, the status of foreign scientists was very low, and the results they worked hard to make were deprived by those foreign scientists due to unfair contract constraints. Therefore, when the Mosey Technology Laboratory rose, they saw new hope in their motherland. According to Zhang Xiaoli's statistics, more than 300 scientists have expressed their willingness to join the laboratory through various channels. Their professional fields cover biology, chemistry, high-energy physics, pharmaceuticals, etc., and they have received professional training and can directly participate in the experiment. These more than 300 scientists are equivalent to more than 300 treasures. With their joining, Mosey Technology Laboratory can fully develop in more fields. Therefore, the construction of a new laboratory was put on the agenda by Liemo. Unlike the first construction of the laboratory, after Liemo expressed to the outside world the plan of Mosey Technology to build a new laboratory, invitations from all over the country came in. Now Liemo's laboratory has become a golden signboard and a symbol of China's high technology. More importantly, the photo of Liemo shaking hands with the old man last time has long been spread across the country through major media, which is a positive signal. Look, Zhang Xiaoli once again entered the office with a large stack of invitations. She pouted and said, "Boss, I'm almost exhausted." Liemo immediately stood up and took the invitation letter. "Next time you move such heavy objects, you can ask CNIU to come." Zhang Xiaoli's eyes lit up, and she clapped her hands and said, "Yes, how could I forget?" The CNIU mentioned by Liemo is a new member of the laboratory, a biomolecular analyst, NIU Ben. This young man is tall and strong, and his biceps are as big as a small fist. If he hadn't seen him complete the experiment skillfully, Liemo would have thought that the young man was a fitness coach. Liemo was the first to open the invitation letter from Dangan District, because the Security Bureau is located in Dangan District. As a laboratory that is the focus of attention of foreign people, it is more appropriate to choose the Security Bureau as a neighbor. 500 acres of land next to Xiaoshan Park. This cost is too much. Liemo has been to Xiaoshan Park. There are mountains and lakes in it. It is a picturesque place with convenient transportation and complete educational facilities. The land next to Xiaoshan Park is completely quiet in the bustling city. Several large domestic real estate companies have long coveted that plot of land. Some analysts predict that once this plot of land is listed, it will become the most expensive land in Yanjing. I didn't expect Dangan to give this plot of land to Mosey Technology. A king bomb. This is simply a king bomb. Liemo couldn't help but sigh at Dangan's courage. Chapter 289 What Yanda Needs. Near Xiaoshan Park, Jinggan District, Yanjing old people who often exercise in the park found that the wasteland near the park had been fenced off with guardrails, and construction machinery drove into the fence one after another. A house is finally going to be built on this overgrown plot of land. In the small square of the park, two old men, one fat and one thin, were sitting in front of a chessboard. Old Wang, when the house next to this is built, I must buy one, so that I don't have to ask the driver to pick me up every day. The fat old man narrowed his eyes and picked up a chess piece. The thin old man nodded slightly. The location here is really great, and there will be room for appreciation sooner or later. The fat old man took the chess piece and emphasized his tone. The thin old man smiled, but didn't say anything, just gestured to him to make a move quickly. I asked my son to buy one and my daughter to buy one for living, and one for chess records. How about it? The fat on the fat old man's face was folded into buns. It's up to you. Play quickly. The thin old man waved his hand impatiently. The fat old man was very upset about his chess friend's non-cooperation. It was so lonely to show off without anyone appreciating it. Do you think I can't afford it? The fat old man was like a child. He hated others looking down on him the most. You can't afford it. The thin old man had a hateful smile on his face. I can't afford it? My son is the president of a large company with a net worth of 5 billion, and my son-in-law owns 2 listed companies. How can I not afford it? The fat old man said excitedly. Your son can't afford it, your son-in-law can't afford it, and your whole family can't afford it. The thin old man was merciless. Why? Tell me why. The fat old man felt that he was about to explode. Because the house next door was built by Mosey Laboratory, they won't sell it. The thin old man was very happy to see other people's frustrated expressions. You bullied me. I won't play with you today. The fat old man threw the chess pieces in his hand, turned around, and walked away angrily. Inside the fence, Liemo slowly walked down from the tall RV. Boss, Xia King, who had been notified long ago, rushed over with a group of technicians. Her small face under the white safety helmet looked very haggard under the attack of wind and sand. I just want you to supervise the progress of the project, not to stay on the construction site all day. Liemo frowned. The construction project of the entire laboratory was handed over to a well-known domestic construction company through bidding. For the sake of safety, he also sent a supervisor Xiaoqing. "It's okay, we are just rushing to meet the deadline these 2 days." Xiaoqing's heart warmed. The foundation of the main project has been dug. According to the current progress, we will move into the new laboratory in half a year. Accompanied by Heijie and Xiaoqing, Li Mo came to the construction site. Dozens of excavators were busy, and more than a dozen commercial concrete trucks were waiting to enter. He placed great hopes on this experimental base, which will become the front line of his scientific research in the future. As for the old laboratory in Yanda, he had already made arrangements. Just as Li Mo was looking forward to the future with high spirits, beep 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 was a call from the president of Yanda. "Speak of the devil. Let's go back to Yanda." Li Mo waved his hand. President Feng, who had just returned from abroad, was pacing back and forth. His messy hair and bloodshot eyes showed that he had not even taken a short break. How could such a big thing happen in just 2 weeks? He was filled with endless anger. Why didn't the other school leaders inform me? Don't they know what the Mosey Technology Laboratory means to our Yanda? That's right. President Feng was invited to attend an important international academic conference abroad 2 weeks ago. When the conference was about to come to an end, he learned from a colleague from the United States that the Mosey Technology Laboratory was starting a new laboratory, and the scale was not small. From the playful expression of the colleague, President Feng realized that Yanda was about to lose this most famous laboratory in China. Although the Mosey Technology Laboratory and Yanda were only in a cooperative relationship, in the eyes of the public, it had become a benchmark for Yanda. Even in the past few years, Yanda had repeatedly gained the upper hand in competing with its old rival Qingdao University for the top scorer in the college entrance examination, just because the recruiting teachers would implicitly mention that the Mosey Technology Laboratory would absorb fresh Yanda students every year. Which student doesn't have a Nobel Prize dream? And now, this benchmark has been pulled out by the roots. So, President Feng turned down the final speech at the end of the meeting and flew back to Yanda overnight. As a hard-working president, since he took over Yanda, Yanda's world ranking has risen by 5 places in a row. In the past 2 years, due to the existence of the Mosey Technology Laboratory, it has already surpassed its old rival Qingdao. But what about now? On the plane, he talked to several vice presidents in charge of the daily work of the school. These vice presidents obviously had already known the news. When President Feng asked them why they didn't stay, their answer was, Professor Li Mo did not apply to them to build a new laboratory, but directly sent a message to the local area. As school leaders, they were not good at intervening in the internal affairs of Mosey Technology. Lazy politics. Lazy politics. President Feng thought of the excuses on the phone, and his anger was even stronger. He unbuttoned the collar of his shirt. These school leaders are used to the feeling of being high and mighty, and are they still waiting for others to apply? Can't they use their brains to think about it? The current Mosey Technology Laboratory no longer needs to rely on the resources of Yanda. According to their current reputation, let alone places in China, even if Li Mo wants to move the laboratory abroad, those countries will certainly welcome it with both hands. Do I still need to beg a small Yanda? A good hand of cards has been ruined by these people who are just sitting there doing nothing. Principal Feng secretly made up his mind to carry out a rectification campaign within Yanda. He needed to let those leaders understand that the university is no longer the ivory tower it used to be. Knock knock. A knock on the door interrupted Principal Feng's thoughts. He sat down before the meeting to work and straightened his slightly wrinkled clothes. Come in. The person who came was Li Mo. He gently pushed open the door of the office with a bright smile on his face. Principal, are you looking for me? Li Mo had a good impression of the young principal. It was he who made the final decision and the Mosey Technology Laboratory had a place. Principal Feng took the initiative to stand up and took out a packet of tea wrapped in newspaper from the cabinet. He pinched a small handful and put it into the teacup. Li Mo's eyes moved slightly. Is it popular to wrap good tea in newspaper now? Mr. Wang's High Mountain Cloud tea is wrapped in newspaper. Now seeing Principal Feng's cautious look, this tea will not be cheap. This tea was given to me by an old classmate of mine. It is said that it was picked from the 18 trees in Langjing Imperial Tea Garden. You can try it. Principal Feng brewed the tea. Liemo smiled slightly and took the cup. It's amazing. Almost every leader's family will have an old classmate who gave it to them, and it is a unique tea wrapped in newspaper. If there are so many unique teas, the 18 trees are probably stripped of their bark. But the guest is the guest, and the host's kindness can only be accepted with an open mind. Not bad good tea, fragrant, slightly astringent in the mouth, sweet in the stomach, top quality. Liemo also learned from those tea tasting masters. Principal Feng was obviously very pleased with his words, and the wrinkles on his face relaxed a lot. I heard that your laboratory is expanding? Expand instead of relocate. Liemo pondered Principal Feng's intention in his heart, but his expression did not change. Yes, due to the increasing number of laboratory personnel, expansion is imminent, and Angan has approved 500 acres of land. Oh, so are you moving as a whole? It seems that there is a gentleman's agreement between us. Principal Feng showed a half smile on his face. Gentleman's agreement? Liemo did not remember having any gentleman's agreement with this principal, and his memory was never wrong. But when he saw Principal Feng's expression, everything became clear. This dedicated principal was fighting for the interests of Yanda. He, Liemo, was not an ungrateful person. After the lab in Dangan is built, the main lab members will move here. Liemo carefully considered his words, but the Mosey Technology Lab in Yanda will not be closed. It will become an internship base for interns, mainly used to train Yanda students who are interested in joining Mosey Technology. After saying this, he glanced at Principal Feng, who nodded slightly, but did not say anything. After thinking for a while, Liemo continued, of course, since the new Mosey Technology Lab is highly confidential, the task of receiving domestic and foreign scholars for visits will be undertaken by the old lab in the future. For the sake of convenience, the old lab will not be renamed. It will still be the Yanjing Mosey Technology Lab. Liemo understood what the president needed and what Yanda needed. Sure enough, when he finished speaking, Principal Feng clapped his hands with a smile on his face. Good. Yanda and Mosey Technology Lab will definitely move forward hand in hand. For a century-old prestigious university, nothing is more important than reputation. For the outside world, the Mosey Technology Lab is still a member of the Yanda system. Chapter 290 What is a real academic master like? The weather in Yanqing this year is exceptionally cold. Just as December begins, the first snow of early winter has already fallen on the campus of Yanqing University. A romantic female classmate, wearing white long boots, leaves a pretty figure in the flying snowflakes. At this moment, in the office of Professor Wu of the School of Mathematics of Yanqing University, there is a mist floating on the thermos cup on the desk. Professor Wu, sitting at his desk, drinks hot tea while browsing the schedule information on his computer. The annual International Conference of Mathematicians is about to be held. An old classmate in charge of conference affairs revealed that more than half of the exchange papers at this year's conference are related to limit conversion theory. It has to be said that limit conversion theory has become a hot topic in the international mathematics community and has gradually been extended to various fields of mathematics by scholars. Every paper on the use of limit conversion theory in a new field will be included in C, so it is not surprising that so many papers on limit theory appeared at the conference. However, as Liemo's teacher, Professor Wu deliberately avoided this hot topic and chose the RS equation as the topic for this year. He has already organized the paper and is only waiting for peer review at the conference. After confirming the specific time schedule of the conference, he began to comment on the final papers of the graduate students. As a master of the School of Mathematics, Professor Wu has long stopped teaching undergraduates, but he has as many as 12 graduate students under his command. This number was reduced only after his repeated requests, who made him bear the halo of Liemo's tutor. The School of Mathematics also hopes that he can bring out another trumpet. However, as a famous teacher, he naturally has to have the strict requirements of a famous teacher. Although Professor Wu did not require graduate students to publish a top paper in the 4 major journals, like he did to Liemo, they were also required to hand in a final paper every semester, and the quality of the paper determined their final grades. Zhu Dongxiang, the idea of this paper on turbulence equations is still very good. The little girl sitting opposite had a twinkling eye and a blush on her face. Professor Wu shook his head, but there are some problems with the structure of the paper, especially in the citation theorem. There are big flaws. It is difficult to publish a paper of this level in a mainstream journal. A paper with great potential was written like this. Professor Wu couldn't help but sigh. Let Liemo write this paper. At least it can be published in a B-level journal. In the academic world, professional level is one thing, and writing papers is another. Many outstanding scholars in China lack professional paper writing skills, which leads to their academic achievements not being recognized by their peers. After all, for scientists, papers are face. Hearing the professor sigh, the student named Dong Xiang showed a worshipful look and asked curiously, "Professor, when you first took Brother Liemo to do the project, what kind of person was he?" At this time, several graduate students waiting for comments also gathered around. When they became disciples, they already knew that Liemo, who spanned the three realms of mathematics, physics and chemistry, was their fellow brother. Unfortunately, Professor Wu rarely mentioned him on weekdays. Even when they occasionally asked about the deeds of senior brother Liemo, they would be reprimanded by Professor Wu mercilessly. Today, the teacher actually took the initiative to mention this amazing senior brother. Hearing this question, Professor Wu did not reprimand, but smiled. What kind of person? Apart from genius, I can't think of any word to describe him. After a pause, recalling the past, Professor Wu continued. I won't talk about the undergraduate period. I think it is unique in the history of Yanda to get a graduation certificate from Yanda with full marks within a year. Let me tell you how your senior brother discovered the limo theory. Hearing this, several graduate students showed moving expressions on their faces. It was not worth mentioning that the miracle of getting a graduation certificate from Yanda with full marks within a year happened to senior brother Liemo. It was really terrible. Think about what you did in your first year at Yanda. Zhu Dongxiang thought for a long time, and apart from seeing San Litan, the internet celebrity check in place, she couldn't think of anything else. Seeing the expectant look on the students' faces, Professor Wu felt the joy of a child sharing a treasure. At that time, he had just been admitted to my school, and had not been in the Department of Mathematics for half a semester. Just when I was about to talk to him, he came to my office excitedly. Here, he paused, as if recalling the scene at that time, and a graduate student handed him a cup of tea at the right time. Professor Wu took a sip of hot tea and continued. He told me that he wanted to solve an unsolved mathematical problem. I remember his tone at that time very clearly, just like a naughty child who wanted to buy a new toy. I thought he was just perfunctory to me at the time, and I scolded him. The eyes of the graduate students lit up. It turned out that senior Liemo had also been scolded by the professor. They finally had something the same as him. Professor Wu tried hard to recall. As a result, the next day, he came to the office again with a notebook in a mysterious manner, and then told me that he had chosen a topic, which is the odd number perfect conjecture. At this time, he smiled self-deprecatingly. At that time, I thought he was whimsical, but as a result, about a week later, he appeared in the office again with a tired face. This time he brought a stack of drafts and a paper of several hundred pages. Zhu Dongxiang's heart skipped a beat and said excitedly, "That paper is on the odd number perfect conjecture?" These graduate students in the Department of Mathematics are very familiar with this paper, because as a perfect application of the limo transformation theory, it has become a must-read paper for every student who aspires to make achievements in mathematics. Professor Wu smiled proudly. Yes, it's on the perfect conjecture of odd numbers, and it's in English. He solved a world problem in less than a week, and wrote a perfect paper. It's not too much to describe such a person as a genius, right? The graduate students nodded silently. Not to mention the difficulty of solving world problems. It would take at least several weeks to write a paper that can be published in the 4 major journals. At this time, Zhu Dongxiang asked timidly, "What is the level of Liemo's paper writing?" Let's put it this way, his paper can be published directly in the 4 major journals without any revisions. Professor Wu answered without hesitation. He has seen Liemo's writing ability. Is this a real academic tyrant? Zhu Dongxiang said faintly. She thought of her own paper that was still terrible after several revisions. Professor Wu shook his head. What really terrified me was that shortly after his paper was published in the Big Four, he came to tell me that he had discovered an interesting little theory while writing the paper, and he wanted to summarize this little theory. Hearing this, the graduate students could no longer hold back, and they all took a breath. Could this little theory be the limo conversion theory? Professor Wu nodded and said with mixed feelings, yes, this little theory is the limo conversion theory that later swept the mathematics world. The office fell into silence, and everyone had the same expression on their faces. That is incredible. This has exceeded the imagination of ordinary people. At this time, a reminder of new emails came from the computer on the desk. Professor Wu opened the mailbox. He couldn't help but be slightly stunned, and then a gratified smile appeared on his face. This kid didn't forget me. Invitation letter to the Nobel Prize ceremony. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 291, The Last Spot. At the same time, President Feng of Yanda and Mr. Wang of 912 also received invitations. They are both well-known scientists in the academic circle and have helped Liemo a lot. After sending out these 3 invitations, Liemo found that his social circle was too small. Teacher Wang from high school had already attended his award ceremony in Norway, so he would not attend this Nobel Prize ceremony. Zhang Xiaoli hoped to spend more time with her mother, who survived the disaster. After hearing the invitation, Brother He turned around and left. Liemo could understand this, because his identity was not suitable for being exposed under the spotlight. Then, considering his parents who were far away in Mengcheng, plus the 3 brothers Xiaoqing, Jingjing, and Yande who had fought together in the laboratory, there were still 2 invitations that had not been settled. Should we invite 2 more professors from Yanda? Liemo immediately rejected this idea, because although the invitees were happy, those who did not receive the invitation would probably feel resentful. Chen Shuxian? A name came into his mind. As the general manager of marketing technology, Xiaoqing was no longer suitable to be his assistant part-time, so maybe Chen Shuxian could attend as an assistant. The most important thing is that as an employee of Mosi Technology Laboratory, Chen Shuxian has no right to refuse this decision. Liemo also wrote Chen Shuxian's name on the guest list. There is still 1 person missing to make up 14 people. Of course, the 2-dimensional big-headed Pajero man in his head cannot be counted. Is this going to waste a free overseas travel quota? At this time, the mobile phone issued a message alert sound buzz. Liemo turned on the screen, and on Weibo, another netizen left him a message. Big brother, it's December. Don't forget to receive the award. He smiled slightly and replied, thank you for reminding me, I remember it. These days, Liemo, who is not in a hurry to solve the brother guess, often interacts with netizens on Weibo. Got it. You can draw a lottery. Liemo, who has been trained in the learning assistance system, already has rich experience in lottery draws. He instantly thought of a good idea, that is, to randomly draw a lucky netizen on Weibo. This netizen will represent all netizens, and go to Sweden with him to attend the Nobel Prize dinner. Liemo Crackling published a new blog post at EVERYONE. Do you want to get a chance to travel to Sweden for free for 7 days? Do you want to appear in the same frame with many Nobel Prize winners? Do you want to attend the highest dinner in the hearts of Swedes and taste the taste of Arctic salmon and lobster soup? Do you want to show your dancing skills at the ball held in the Golden Hall? Well, now is your chance. Netizens who follow and leave messages will have the opportunity to be my guests and attend the Nobel Prize ceremony. Professor Liemo, Yanqing University. 1 person is allowed to participate in the lottery, limited to Chinese people, and cannot be resold. All the interpretation rights of this lottery belong to the blogger. Then, click send. Yanqing, next to the famous Summer Palace, in an old residential building, a man in his 30s was sleeping soundly on the bed, and the warm sunlight shone on his face through the glass window. The man frowned and habitually touched the other side of the bed, but touched nothing. He opened his eyes slightly, picked up the mobile phone under the pillow, and lit up the mobile phone screen. 9:30 a.m. The man yawned and stretched. He reached for the bedside table, where neatly arranged clothes were, and a small note caught his eye. "Honey, I'm going to work. There's toast and milk in the refrigerator." There was a crooked heart pattern drawn on the back. A smile appeared on the man's face. He quickly put on a plaid shirt and jeans, and rushed into the bathroom. The cold water drops fell on his face, driving away the last trace of hazy sleepiness. He looked at the figure reflected in the mirror of the wash basin, and said to himself, "Young and handsome guy." At this time, a piece of white hair at the temples caught his attention. He frowned and fiddled with it. It seems to have a little more. Beep. The alarm clock set yesterday rang. Oh no, if it's any later, the fresh ribs in the supermarket will be sold out. The man hastily wiped the water drops on his face, picked up the car keys hanging behind the door, and prepared to go out. At this time, the badge on the front of the shirt caught his attention. Bimingayu, male, 28 years old, position, operation, and maintenance engineer. He hesitated for a moment, tore off his badge, put it in his pocket, and then walked out the door. Someone once said that the streets of big cities are not congested only late at night. Bimingayu looked at the long queue in front of him, and anxiously looked at the clock on the car. He now regretted getting up late in the morning. As the most miserable existence among programmers, operation, and maintenance engineers are a 24-hour standby profession, and they are always ready to play the role of firefighters. In particular, Bimingayu is in charge of the most popular Weibo platform in China. People in the internet age have moved the rumors and gossips from the village to the internet. Today this star is deeply involved in a surrogacy scandal, and tomorrow that star is photographed by paparazzi cheating. In every hot topic, there will be huge traffic flowing to Weibo. At this time, the bosses behind Weibo must be smiling, but it is hard for them, the operation and maintenance engineers. Ziob, server number 2 is down again. You should take people to maintain it. Ziob, the page is 502 again. Ziob, the server is about to explode. Hurry up and apply for a backup. Ziob, users dislike the poor page art and want us to kill a programmer to sacrifice to the gods. The leader has designated you. He has no credit at all, but he is the best at taking the blame. The work of operation and maintenance determines that he is either taking the blame or on the way to take the blame. Whenever this happens, Bimingayu has the urge to delete the database and run away. But the figure of a sunny girl appeared in his mind and pulled him back from this evil idea. This girl is his girlfriend, Xiaoya. They are both migrant workers in Beijing and can only rent an old apartment. Even so, Xiaoya is always full of yearning for the future. She always silently calculates when they can get enough money for the down payment of a house outside the 5th Ring Road. This is why Bimingayu endures the overload of operation and maintenance work. After all, the welfare benefits of Weibo company are also quite good among the first-tier internet companies. The number that increases on the bank card every month is his motivation for work. My girlfriend Xiaoya is a nurse in a small hospital. Unlike the angels in white imagined by the outside world, these girls often receive the lowest salary and bear the greatest pressure. Her classmates kept persuading her to find a local man to marry like them, so that she would not have to suffer the harassment of the head nurse for overtime bonuses all day long. Xiaoya always refused with a smile, and she always firmly told her friends that they would definitely buy their own house in Yangjing in the future. In order to save money, she would rush to buy vegetables on sale with a group of middle-aged aunts for a few cents difference. She would knit and worn sweaters into warm scarves. In fact, as a senior programmer, Bimingayu has calculated that according to the speed of their savings and the growth rate of Yanjing's housing prices, they will only be able to save enough for the down payment of a house in 2016, 1 month and 3 days. He believes that Xiaoya, who graduated from college, must have calculated it too. But neither of them mentioned this matter. After all, hope is always good. Today, Bimingayu is going to use his rare day off to go to the supermarket to buy fresh ribs. He knew that Xiaoya, who always said that eating green vegetables was healthy, was actually a carnivore, and her favorite dish was pork rib soup. Every time she stewed pork rib soup, she would always drink 2 large bowls, and then rub her invisible belly, and complain that she had eaten too much. This was when Bimingayu was happiest. so he wanted to stew a pot of fragrant pork ribs to give Xiaoya a surprise. Chapter 292, Sensation across the country. Every day after 10 o'clock in the supermarket, the fresh spare ribs will be snapped up by the aunties, who like to make soup, and only the frozen spare ribs from the cold storage are left. Fortunately, it's not yet 10 o'clock, so I'm still in time. Beaming guy who parked the car in the basement of the supermarket and subconsciously checked the time. He pulled the handbrake, got off the car, and closed the door in one go. He squeezed into the elevator smoothly, and he was only a dozen meters away from the spare ribs. Just after stepping out of the elevator, ding woo, a sharp alarm sounded from his pocket, and people around him cast strange looks at him. Damn it. Beaming guy's heart skipped a beat, and the ringtone that sounded was the one he set for his work number. Death Chaser. He turned on the screen, and a name came into view. Oh no, it's the supervisor. Beaming guy hesitated for a moment, but still answered the call. A sharp voice came from the receiver. Ziob, where are you going? Why can't I get through on the phone? Come back to the company. Beaming guy looked at the entrance of the supermarket and said bravely, Supervisor, I'm on vacation today. The work has been handed over to Zioliu. Vacation? The supervisor paused, as if thinking about something. Oh, that's the case, but now your vacation is cancelled. Then he yelled, the server is broken again. Hurry back to the company, now, immediately. Beaming guy frowned. Although the life-chasing witch had a hot temper, she was not a person who could not keep calm. What happened today? If the server broke, there was a spare one. Zioliu could handle it. Why did he have to be found? Countless questions arose in his mind. The broken server vs the fresh ribs that were within reach. Finally, the 5-digit monthly salary prevailed. I'll be there soon. After hanging up the phone with the life-chasing witch, Beaming guy sent a short voice message to his girlfriend. Temporary overtime. He knew that his girlfriend was at work, and it would definitely be inconvenient for her to answer the phone. Stepping into the Weibo building, Beaming guy found that the atmosphere of the company today was too strange. The front-end boss, who always had his eyes on his head, actually cast an indescribable look through the glass. And the front desk, known as the Waves, had a hint of red on her fair face when he signed in. What happened? It's rare that everyone finally discovered my hidden handsomeness. In anxiety, Beaming guy pushed open the door of the operation and maintenance department. Ziob, you are finally here. Hurry up. The life-chasing witch was wearing a cool see-through outfit and high heels today, and she rarely appeared in the office. Beaming guy nodded slightly. Zioliu, what's the situation? He ignored the initiator who destroyed his carefully prepared surprise plan. Boss, the server exploded. Zioliu in front of the computer seemed at a loss. How many machines exploded? Just replace the backup machine first. Beaming guy pushed Zioliu away. He wanted to apply for a backup as soon as possible. 511 machines are down. Zioliu said innocently. What? 511? Beaming guy opened the status table, and sure enough, almost 1/4 of the servers were down. How could this happen? It shouldn't be like this. Beaming guy was very familiar with the servers he maintained personally. After his careful optimization, each server could withstand 10,000 simultaneous visits. The number of Weibo users' visits was always stable, unless there was a hot event. Beaming guy's heart skipped a beat, and he opened the online population statistics. A red upward curve appeared on the screen. Oh my god, 10 million people online at the same time. The number of visits exceeded 500%. No wonder so many servers were down. The record of the number of people online at the same time on Weibo was created during the wedding of a superstar, but the number of people at that time was only 2 million. This time, there were 10 million people online at the same time, and it was still increasing. Beaming guy opened the response time analysis. The response time is 600 seconds. Sure enough, as the servers kept failing, the system automatically turned on the delayed queuing mode. That is, it took 600 seconds for each user to refresh the Weibo page. With such a long waiting time, no one was willing to close the page. Beaming guy was puzzled, because according to the statistical analysis of internet big data, the average maximum waiting time of internet users is 7 seconds. Once the page cannot be opened within 7 seconds, 90% of users will immediately close the web page. Is it an alien collision with the Earth? Beaming guy who felt that only this level of news could attract such a hot audience. He opened the database index page, and the index showed that 98% of the traffic pointed to a blog post on Weibo. A blog post that can attract 10 million people. Well, Beaming guy who also became curious. Nobel Prize winner Liemo will draw a lucky netizen to go to Sweden together. I understand. Everything is clear. The instigator is this Professor Liemo. Everyone came for his quota. There is no registration fee. As long as you pay attention to the comments, you may have the opportunity to attend the Nobel Prize ceremony. You know how to play. The boss really knows how to play. 50,000? 100,000? As a programmer, Beaming guy who didn't know how much such a Nobel dinner quota was worth, but he could meet members of the Swedish royal family and have dinner with European celebrities. Maybe he could even meet a prince or princess. Maybe it can even appear on the news screen of the national television station. Thinking of this, he had the urge to put down his work immediately and participate in the message lottery. However, he shook his head immediately. As a professional, he must have professional ethics. Beaming guy who opened his notebook and crackled on the keyboard. Okay, supervisor, now I need your permission to add this plugin to the database. It only took him 10 minutes to write a program. What is this? The deadly witch asked curiously. Is it useful? Is it useful? Faced with doubts, Beaming guy who looked unhappy. Although he was doing operation and maintenance work, he was determined to become a real system architect one day and embark on the road to becoming a great god. This plugin implements a simple queuing mechanism, which can limit the access of those who are in a waiting state to outside the traffic. Then, every user who successfully opens Weibo will only have 120 seconds of access time. The ID that exceeds the access time will be kicked out by the system. In this way, we can save a lot of access traffic. Pa pa pa. The deadly witch clapped her hands. I really didn't make a mistake. Will our server be enough? Beaming guy wrote the plugin into the database and replied, according to the number of our servers, plus all the backups, maybe we can cope with it. Facts have proved that Beaming guy who is an excellent operation and maintenance personnel, but not a suitable analyst. As the lottery information spread, more and more users flocked to Liemo's Weibo to leave messages, and the server exploded again. On the top floor of the New Wolf building, Shuxian, chairman and CEO of Weibo, was standing in front of the glass curtain window, overlooking the continuous flow of cars on the road. As the CEO of the largest interactive media platform in China, he has experienced many ups and downs, especially in the past few years, when the social giant Penguin also tried to enter the interactive media platform and created Penguin Weibo. With its unparalleled traffic in the social field, the number of registered users of Penguin Weibo has risen rapidly. For a time, there was a commotion within the Weibo company, and investors withdrew their capital one after another. At that time, Shuxian also made a major decision in front of the glass curtain window overlooking the entire Zhongguancun to launch the Weibo hot search function and give users the right to choose hot events. Once the hot search function was launched, it became popular all over the internet, and the number of registered users of Weibo increased greatly, and it has been far ahead since then. Boss, the server can't hold up again. The number of people online at the same time has reached 15 million. The total number of new registrations today has reached 30 million, and it is still increasing. The assistant gently opened the door and reported the current situation. Also, the current waiting time for Weibo access has reached 10 minutes. Shuxian was not happy about the huge number of 15 million people, because these people, especially the 30 million new users, came to Weibo because of that big guy. So how to create a good environment to retain 30 million new users has become a difficult problem. The waiting time of up to 10 minutes is unimaginable in today's internet era. Once this happens, Weibo's evaluation will probably plummet. Shuxian has seen the hidden wires behind the prosperity. Finally, he made up his mind. Let the browser, input method, video website, and portal website department only retain the minimum number of servers, and all the remaining ones will be seconded to the Weibo department. At the same time, in order to express our apology for the server delay, every newly registered user will receive a 1-month VIP privilege. Also, immediately invite Professor Liemo to become Weibo's lifelong honorary image ambassador, with an annual salary of 5 million. Danger is opportunity. The ambitious Chen Shuxian made a bold decision. He wanted to keep all these newly registered users. Perhaps after this battle, Weibo will no longer have any external threats within the next 5 years. Lifetime honorary ambassador? The secretary, who was taking notes with a pen, showed a puzzled expression. Boss, what is the position of lifetime honorary ambassador? How should the legal department draft a contract? Chen Shuxian put his hands behind his back. Lifetime honorary ambassador means that this ambassador does not need to do anything, as long as he admits to being the image spokesperson of Weibo. Spokesperson who gets paid for nothing, without having to shoot commercials, or participate in activities? The secretary understood instantly. Facts have proved that Chen Shuxian's decision to borrow a server was wise, because after the news that Liemo drew the lucky winner on Weibo appeared on the news program of the national television station, the people of all China knew about this news. For a time, countless access requests poured into the Weibo server. After the server increased tenfold, the access finally stabilized. Finally, according to Weibo statistics, the number of new user registrations on that day reached 150 million, and the number of visits reached an astonishing 5 billion. Even the foreign version of Weibo, which did not have the right to draw prizes, doubled its registrations. The instigator of all this, Liemo, opened his phone after finishing a day's work. Fuck. His eyes almost popped out of his head. Number of fans: 510 million. Number of comments: 450 million. This is a big deal. Chapter 293 Absolute Conspiracy. On the campus of Yanda University, there was a little snow on the ground, which had long been cleaned up by diligent students. Couples on the roadside showed a disappointed expression. He or she would complain to the person next to him from time to time, asking why he didn't come out earlier, so that they could take a romantic photo. In the Mosey Technology Laboratory, Liemo sat at his desk, looking at the documents on the table. The document showed a man with thick eyebrows, dark skin, and a stubborn look in his eyes. Name: Beaming Guy. Position: Operation and Maintenance Engineer Company, Weibo. He looked at the man in the plaid shirt sitting opposite him, and he really looked exactly like the one in the photo. He couldn't help but frown. The pig who wants to fly on Weibo, is that you? Are you the operation and maintenance engineer of Weibo? The man in the plaid shirt sitting opposite him answered expectantly. Boss, my name is Beaming Guy, 28 years old, male, Weibo ID, pig who wants to fly. I'm a P4 employee in the operation and maintenance department of Weibo. Liemo patted his head subconsciously. Oh my god, is this a joke? There are hundreds of millions of netizens who leave messages on Weibo. Why did a Weibo employee get the lucky draw? A shady deal. An absolute shady deal. Liemo could imagine that once the true identity of this lucky fish is revealed, he and Weibo officials will face overwhelming doubts. With a thought in his mind, he picked up his phone and tapped the screen rhythmically. The camera in the corner of the roof turned slightly. At this time, Beaming Guy, who was sitting on the chair, was on pins and needles. Boss, why don't you announce to the public that the results of this lottery are invalid? Or just say that I'm seriously ill and cannot go abroad. Beaming Guy took the initiative to come up with an idea. Liemo's heart tightened. Could it be that he really guessed it right? This seemingly honest man in front of him actually tampered with the lottery process? Oh, he stared at Beaming Guy with sharp eyes and asked directly, do you have something to hide? No, I don't. Beaming Guy stood up emotionally and said with a red face, although I was born in poverty, my parents also taught me, since I was a child, that I must not take things that are not mine. Since you have nothing to hide, why did you take the initiative to refuse this grand prize? Liemo asked in confusion. It is impossible for ordinary people to give up this opportunity to become famous. Even some third-tier celebrities sent him private messages and offered a price of 10 million. Beaming Guy smiled self-deprecatingly. If I say it's because I'm afraid you will be misunderstood by netizens, would you believe it? Liemo's face was moved. He believed this reason That sounded very fake. There are still people in this world who feel guilty for causing trouble to others. I believe it. Liemo nodded solemnly because his mobile phone just received a reply from Zaya. Everything is normal in the lottery process. This means that the Weibo employee in front of him really got this place by luck. In this case, he no longer has any scruples because the outside world's evaluation is just a cloud to him. Beaming Guyu's body trembled when he heard this. Are you really not afraid of being accused of shady dealings by netizens? Liemo looked out the window. No. Because I'm Liemo. A ray of sunlight slanted on his face, highlighting such determination. Yanjing International Airport. A black red flag car drove to the door of the terminal hall at lightning speed, and the sharp sound of brakes attracted the attention of the surrounding passengers. As soon as the car stopped, an old man with white hair got out of the back seat. As soon as he got out of the car, he made an apologetic gesture to the person next to him. Taking the suitcase from the assistant, the old man walked straight into the VIP terminal. Mr. Wang, I'm waiting for you. I thought you were not coming. As soon as he entered the terminal, a young man came up to greet him, followed by more than a dozen men, women, and children. This is the person who is going to Sweden to wait for Liemo and his group. When Mr. Wang saw Liemo, his face was immediately full of smiles. China's first Nobel Prize in Physics. How can I not come? I don't believe that they dare to make trouble at the Nobel Prize ceremony. As he said that, he waved his hands proudly, as if the heroic spirit of his youth had returned. In fact, before inviting Mr. Wang to Sweden, Liemo hesitated again and again. Mr. Wang has a special status. In the early years, he had been on the blacklist of some foreign institutions and had experienced several attacks. It's just that in recent years, he has been in a semi-retired state, which has saved him a lot of trouble, but he can't think about going abroad. However, Liemo thought again that, even if those foreign institutions were fierce and arrogant, they would not dare to make trouble at the Nobel Prize ceremony that everyone was watching, because that would be tantamount to going to war with the whole world. Sure enough, Mr. Wang accepted his invitation without hesitation. Who is this? Mr. Wang stepped forward and asked. His puzzled expression clearly wanted Liemo to introduce his colleagues and others. These are my parents. Liemo had no choice but to introduce them. Old Wang took the initiative to extend his right hand. The country thanks you for giving birth to a good son. The momentum of old Wang and the enthusiasm of his son showed that he was not ordinary, and the two old men showed excitement. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. This is our President Feng of Yanda, my immediate superior. Liemo continued to introduce. Old Wang was slightly startled, and then he remembered that Liemo also served as a professor of Yanda, and immediately understood. President Feng, hello. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. President Feng knew the true identity of the old man in front of him, and he bowed slightly. But who is this little girl? He looked at the girl standing at the end in confusion. The girl didn't seem to be on the list. Oh, she is my assistant, and she is just a student. Liemo saw Chen Shuxian in front of old Wang, looking at a loss, and immediately introduced her. Chen Shuxian, this name is very familiar. It seems that she is Liemo's high school classmate. Old Wang immediately realized it. He kept saying, heroes have always loved beauties. Very good, very good, ha 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 ha. Hearing Mr. Wang's unruly words, Liemo felt that his face was like he had a fever, and he quickly explained, it's just a classmate. I'm short of an assistant now. If there is a lack of an assistant, does it mean that a precious quota needs to be wasted for a freshman? Liemo felt that his explanation was too thin. He stole a glance at Chen Shuxian, and the girl's face had already turned red like a burning cloud. This Mr. Wang is really good at making trouble. What they didn't see was that Liemo's mother gently pulled up Zia King's cold little hand. Ahem. This is the super coy, beaming Gyu. Liemo immediately changed the subject and pointed to a man in a plaid shirt and introduced him. The Weibo employee who was drawn from 400 million people. Is that you? Mr. Wang's eyes widened. Old man, it's me. Beaming Gyu smiled bitterly. Ha ha ha. I don't know whether your luck is good or bad. Mr. Wang looked regretful. You can use this luck to buy lottery tickets, but Liemo is also a fool. He is not afraid of the gold medal, but I feel sorry for you. Liemo was shocked when he heard this. After the results of the Weibo lottery were released, no matter how he explained that the lottery process was fair, just and open, it was a pity that those netizens who like to make up their minds did not believe it. They thought that it was the cunning operation and maintenance engineer beaming guy who modified the results and deceived the Nobel Prize winner. It's a pity that Liemo, a big man who keeps his promises, can only fulfill his promises because there is no actual evidence to expose him. Liemo's tall image of knowing that he was deceived, but always keeping his promises has gradually become fuller in people's imagination. Liar beaming guy and Professor Liemo keeps his promises were both on the hot search on Weibo. Facts are facts, I don't regret it. Beaming guy replied with a righteous face. His righteousness left Mr. Wang speechless for a moment. It seemed that this naive boy had been led astray by Liemo. Chapter 294 3 questions. December. Stockholm, located in a high latitude area, has already entered a long and cold winter. The streets and alleys were covered with thick snow overnight. In the past, the leisurely Nordic people might spend weeks clearing the snow. But today is different. Before the night has dissipated in the early morning, dozens of snowplows have driven onto the streets. They need to complete the snow clearing work before dawn. Because here, a world-renowned award ceremony will be held today. Outside the hotel, the snow has long melted, and the crowd of onlookers has already surrounded this place layer by layer. A reporter from a national TV station frowned after trying to enter this encirclement twice and failed. He was carrying the expectations of the TV station and the hopes of the people of the country, and he must not capsize here. Everyone, make way. I'm a reporter from China. I'm here to film Professor Liemo. The reporter suddenly had an idea and shouted to the crowd in front of him. He thought of a solution that was not a solution. Unexpectedly, the crowd really slowly opened a passage. When the foreigners who were watching heard Liemo's name, they all gave him a thumbs up. Liemo, good. The reporter felt warm in his heart. He had never received such high treatment abroad. Hello, audience friends. I'm now at the entrance of the Stockholm Grand Hotel. You can see that countless citizens waiting for the Nobel Prize winner have gathered at the entrance of the hotel. The camera swept to his side. Liemo, good. China, awesome. The foreigner saw that it was the media from China and shouted loudly. Not far away, a spirited young man dressed in Shaolin performed superb boxing. Behind him was a team of international students. They held red flags and shouted rhythmically, Liemo, hey ha, Liemo, hey ha. Their wonderful performance attracted cheers from the locals. Today's Stockholm has become the Stockholm of the Chinese. Everyone is looking forward to it, waiting for the mysterious genius. With a commotion in the crowd at the door, a group of figures walked out of the door of the hotel. The camera moved quickly and locked onto that figure. Nobel laureates walked out of the hotel VIP channel one after another with their companions. Their faces were filled with joy, and they waved their hands at the people around them. Pa pa pa. This moment. It's finally here. As a thin figure slowly walked out, the cheers of the people around him reached the extreme. He was alone. Maybe it was because no one could stand shoulder to shoulder with him. Maybe it was because he was born arrogant. But this thin figure, even standing at the pinnacle of human wisdom, was so unique. Perhaps he noticed the camera of the national TV station. Liemo turned around and smiled at the camera. Seeing Liemo's actions, the reporter became more excited, and his voice even trembled slightly because of excitement. The person walking past us is Liemo, the winner of this year's Nobel Prize in Physics. Although he is alone, I want to say that the people of the whole country are standing by him at this moment. This is the first Nobel Prize in Physics for a Chinese. He is also the youngest Nobel Prize winner in history. The century-long expectation of Chinese scientists has finally come true. As he spoke, the excited reporter burst into tears. Although he tried hard to control his emotions, he could only make choking sounds. The audience in front of the national TV forgave his mistake because they felt the same way. If they were at the scene, they might have been even less able to control their emotions than this reporter. It was enough for them to just look at the thin figure in the picture. Unfortunately, the Nobel Prize winners only stopped briefly in front of the hotel and then boarded the special car to go to the award ceremony. Stockholm Concert Hall in the capital of Sweden. More than 1,500 guests from the Swedish royal family, government departments and the Nobel Prize Committee attended the award ceremony in their best clothes. Harding, chairman of the Nobel Foundation, stepped on the stage and delivered an opening speech. I hope that the achievements of the Nobel Prize winners can arouse the interest of young scientists and stimulate their research in the field of science. Liemo, who was standing behind the scenes waiting for the award, couldn't help but feel a little nervous. He took a deep breath. "Sir, it's your turn." The usher next to him smiled and encouraged. Liemo straightened his clothes a little and walked down the stage. "Everyone welcomes this year's Nobel Prize winner in physics, Professor Liemo from Yan University in China." The host, Professor Ziding, introduced with the microphone. He opened the door to the new world of physics with his incredible atomic fusion theory. From then on, humans have an ability that can rival the creator. There was fierce applause from the audience. Liemo took a deep breath again. He had won numerous awards and thought he had already adapted to such a big occasion. Unexpectedly, when he was under the fluorescent lights that attracted everyone's attention, a feeling of nervousness came over him again. It's time to use the empathy method. Liemo stood on the stage and looked around. The guests in the audience were all wearing white shirts and black bow ties. "This looks like a penguin." Yes, they are all penguins. Why should I be nervous when facing a group of cute penguins? Look, the fat penguin occupying the center position actually brought 2 female companions. It's so abominable. Thinking of this, Liemo gradually calmed down. The host, Professor Ziding, saw that the nervous expression on his face gradually disappeared, nodded in appreciation, and then took the microphone and said, "You may be a little unfamiliar with Professor Liemo, and your cognition is limited to that he has just become the youngest Nobel Prize winner in physics. But what everyone doesn't know is that this genius who has always been low-key is also the discoverer of the new planet Marxing in the solar system, the inventor of the Marxing battery that changed the energy method of mankind, and according to reports, he has made a breakthrough discovery in quantum chips. These achievements are not inferior to the Nobel Prize at all." Liemo understood in his heart that it seemed that his award this time was also very controversial within the Nobel Prize. The host wanted to take the opportunity to tell those opponents that he did not need the Nobel Prize to improve his status. Sure enough, the host, Professor Ziding, smiled and said, "Professor Liemo, did you expect to win this year's Nobel Prize? Good question. Who said foreigners don't play tricks? Look at the question. The level is too high." "Thank you, host. In fact, for a scientist, new scientific discoveries are already the greatest compliment. I don't have any expectations for any award." Liemo now feels that he is the embodiment of science. He needs to teach these vulgar people who are intoxicated with honor. "But I'm also very happy to win the most prestigious physics award in the world." Liemo showed a modest expression on his face. Professor Ziding was shocked and showed some admiration in his eyes. It was too wise. This young man completely understood his ideas. Let those old antiques listen. They should blush for voting against it. He decided to give this sensible young man a special benefit. As the youngest among the winners, do you have any special wishes? Yes, this benefit is that Liemo made a good wish in front of billions of people around the world. Maybe this young man has a beloved. No matter how proud a girl is, she cannot refuse a marriage proposal on the Nobel Prize stage. Professor Ziding showed a bit of mischief on his face. The royal family members in the hall sat up straight one after another. They wanted to know what special wishes this young genius had. The audience in front of the TV also held their breath. "Can you make a wish during the award ceremony?" Liemo cast his eyes on Professor Ziding, and seeing the professor's cunning eyes, he immediately understood. This wish will be blessed by the whole world. He calmed down and said his wish to the whole hall and the whole world. "I hope that the technology of the Earth's civilization will develop rapidly, break through the shackles of civilization in a not too long time, and go to the universe." On the stage, Professor Ziding, who was waiting for a romantic declaration, looked confused. Off the stage, the guests who were waiting for beautiful blessings such as world peace looked at each other in bewilderment. In front of TVs around the world, billions of people cheered. This is exactly the kind of pure scientist that mankind needs. Liemo's super wish made the atmosphere on the scene stagnant for a while. Well, should I give a speech to express my gratitude for the award? Liam couldn't help asking. After all, it was not pleasant to be stared at by thousands of penguins. Oh, Professor Ziding came back to his senses this time. Now, please invite the Nobel Prize winner in physics to give a speech. Liam held the microphone and came to the front of the stage. Under the spotlight, he looked forward. Today, I can win the highest award in physics. First of all, I want to thank my motherland, my parents, my mentors who helped me selflessly during my growth, and the researchers who worked hard day and night during my research. But what I'm most grateful for is the 3 questions that have been bothering me since I was a child. 3 questions? Interesting. The guests who were ready to listen to the standard talk sat up straight and pricked up their ears. Liam continued, when I was very young, everyone had the habit of enjoying the cool air in the courtyard at night in the summer. One day, I was still ignorant and looked at the stars in the night sky. Suddenly, I thought of 3 questions. Who am I? Where do I come from? Where am I going? These 3 questions have always troubled me. When I grew up, I found that, although humans have become the masters of the earth, they still cannot explain any of these questions. So these 3 questions have always led me forward. I look forward to one day being able to perfectly answer these 3 questions. There was warm applause from the audience, and the guests all showed thoughtful expressions on their faces. Who am I? Where do I come from? Where am I going? Chapter 295 Note. In the hotel room, Liam frowned and took out a 10 centimeters long note from his pocket. 5,633,280,714.3714115548. There were 18 numbers sticked on the note. These numbers were of different sizes and colors. They should have been cut from different magazines and glued together. What does it mean? Is it a prank? The picture in Liam's mind turned rapidly, and a black figure appeared in the picture. Could it be him? The story started with the Nobel banquet. People are always full of beautiful expectations for the unknown. As one of the most famous banquets in the world, the Nobel banquet is full of yearning for the world. The magnificent banquet hall, wonderful music, royal nobles, and upper class people gathered, and all kinds of mysterious atmosphere make it hard to get a ticket. It is so romantic to have dinner with European princesses. Liam also had some expectations, but when he was at the banquet, he found that imagination was beautiful and reality was cruel. More than 1,300 people were crowded in the small banquet hall. Apart from the passage, reserved for the service staff, the space between the tables was very small. Liam could even smell the strong body odor of a burly European behind him. In this environment, especially after the lengthy toast, his appetite had greatly decreased. Fruit platter, vegetable soup, and green vegetable leaves. The waiters brought out the dishes that had been in the kitchen for who knows how long. My goodness, the fruit was salty and the vegetable soup was cold. After tasting a few bites, Liam frowned. As for the green vegetable leaves, he didn't even have the interest to try them. Boss, foie gras is here. Zia King knew that he was a man who loved meat. A French dish was placed on the table. Next to the plump foie gras, there were a few slices of black mushrooms. Liam's eyes lit up. These slices of mushrooms should be the legendary diamond level ingredients black truffles, which cost more than the same weight of gold. Just kidding. Eating this stuff is equivalent to eating gold, and you must not save for these foreigners. Feeling abused just now, he immediately picked up the fork. He gently put the truffle slice into his mouth and tasted it carefully. Suddenly, a mixed smell of musk, garlic, and wet leaves filled his taste buds. Liam frowned. This thing can't be tasted carefully. He chewed it carefully, chewing on the truffle slice with his teeth, like eating a piece of paper. If it were ordinary food, he might have spit it out, but this is truffle, it is gold. Maybe it will be like high mountain cloud tea after swallowing, with an endless aftertaste. Liam resisted the discomfort and swallowed the truffle into his stomach. The truffle was eaten, but a strange smell still filled his mouth. He grabbed the red wine on the table and drank 2 mouthfuls. The red wine and truffle had a wonderful chemical reaction, and a stream of air rushed up his stomach, passed through the esophagus, and rushed into his mouth. This is a smell of gas and the smell of long unwashed sheets. Ugly Mo couldn't stand it anymore. He stood up and ran to the bathroom not far away. He didn't want to be the first Chinese to vomit in the Nobel banquet hall. Fortunately, the banquet hall was not big, but the bathroom was not small. After a lot of shaking, Liam stood in front of the wash mirror and washed the smell of gas in his mouth with warm water. "Are you drunk, Professor Liam?" At this time, a poor Chinese greeting came from behind. "Is it an acquaintance?" Liam nodded vaguely. Just then, the black shadow who just greeted looked around, quickly came over, and stuffed a note into his pocket. In an instant, after realizing that the mass of his body increased by 0.001 g, Liam looked back through the mirror in front of him. Only a black back was left in the mirror. With a thought in his mind, Liam did not make any move, but turned his head and continued to try to eliminate the smell of gas in his mouth. At this banquet that attracted worldwide attention, no organization or individual would do anything out of line, so the purpose of this black shadow was only one, that is, to pass the information to Liam by passing the note. Liam sat on the sofa, not entangled in the meaning of the numbers on the note, but tried to see the true face of the whole incident. The earth is vast, and the exchange of information between people is crucial, and has become a priority direction for the development of science. In ancient times, there were ways of delivering letters by pigeon, military intelligence by beacon fire, and 800-mile express delivery. In modern times, with the development of electromagnetic theory, more convenient ways of information delivery such as wireless telegraph, wired telephone, satellite telephone, and internet instant messaging have emerged in an endless stream. It can also be said that the history of human civilization is based on the history of information transmission. But all these ways of information transmission face the same problem, that is, they may be eavesdropped by someone with a heart, causing the outflow of information. Especially for some people who are under strict surveillance, his mobile phone, email, and all his every move are under the surveillance of others. It is difficult to pass the information quietly and safely. Thinking of this, Liam felt that the Shadow Man made the best choice. The occasion of the Nobel Prize banquet means that the monitoring system he is in is no longer effective. The ancient passing notes can ensure that the information is delivered to the right person. At the same time, an invited guest of the Nobel Prize banquet risked his life to deliver a message that was enough to attract Liam's attention. The Shadow Man's intended purpose had been fully achieved. "Boss, Ambassador Zhao from the embassy invites you to the embassy." Outside the door, there was a knock from King. Liam folded the note and put it in his underwear pocket before opening the door. Outside the door, King was wearing a black gauze evening dress, dignified yet sexy. "Can I be a temporary assistant?" She looked expectant. Liam rolled his eyes at her. She was already dressed, how could she refuse? King had a smile on her face like a child who had succeeded in a prank. Chinese embassy in Sweden. Under the cover of night, a luxury car drove silently into the embassy. "It's so late, and I'm sorry to bother you by inviting you here." Ambassador Zhao, who had been waiting at the door for a long time, stepped forward quickly and opened the car door. "I heard that you will return to your motherland early tomorrow morning. The local Chinese and international students all want to meet you. No need to bother you, Mr. Ambassador. It's really hard to be in a foreign country." Liam took the initiative to shake Ambassador Zhao's right hand. He always respected those who worked for their motherland overseas. This lady must be the domineering female manager of marketing technology. After meeting her today, it turns out that women are as good as men. The ambassador's wife took King's arm. King was flattered by the title of domineering president. She replied embarrassedly, "Mrs. Zhao is the radiant one." Indeed, women's beauty comes in all kinds of ways. If King's beauty is the purity of a lotus emerging from the water, then Mrs. Zhao in front of him is graceful and elegant. This kind of beauty will not fade with time, but will become more charming. Stepping into the hall, Liam found that the entire embassy had been turned into a large banquet hall by the staff, and more than a dozen round tables were set up in the living room. In front of the round table, more than 100 yellow faces were looking at him with eager eyes. Liam's heart was warmed. He knew that the reason why these compatriots were here was because they had the same motherland behind them. He clasped his hands together. "Hello, everyone. I didn't expect to see such friendly faces and hear such familiar accents in a foreign country. I would like to thank you all here. Everyone was immediately enthusiastic. They didn't expect that this legendary genius scientist who was arrogant would be so kind. A girl who looked like a student came over with a plate covered with red satin. This is a gift for you from all of us who are studying in Switzerland. Liemo gently lifted the red satin, and a crystal sculpture shone under the reflection of the light. The sculpture looked into the distance, holding a thick book, and under the engraving of the sculptor, it showed a mysterious beauty. Upon closer inspection, Liemo found that the facial lines of the statue were somewhat similar to his appearance. He stared at the sculpture and asked in confusion, "What is this?" The female student smiled and said, "This is a sculpture created by Mr. Pythagoras, a famous sculptor, based on you. Do you like it?" Liemo nodded heavily, feeling warm in his heart. After a brief exchange of greetings with the guests, Liemo, led by Ambassador Zhao, came to a secluded room. There was only a tea table, 2 teacups, and a kettle in the room, and nothing else. Liemo realized the extraordinariness of this room from Ambassador Zhao's mysterious smile. He believed that the teacups and tea table were also temporarily placed here. "Here, I'll serve you a cup of tea instead of wine." Ambassador Zhao took the initiative to pour the tea. "I have been in a foreign country for many years, and this is the first time I feel so proud. You don't know how I feel every year when I see people from other countries taking the Nobel Prize." Liemo took the teacup and tasted it carefully. "Maybe we will have a chance to drink tea together next year." Ambassador Zhao was startled, and his wrist trembled slightly. "Are you serious?" Liemo showed a mysterious smile on his face. "Maybe." Ambassador Zhao was stunned. "By the way, I wonder if you can help me with something." Liemo remembered the note. "Here, no one is more suitable for this task than Ambassador Zhao. You say?" Ambassador Zhao did not show any surprise. "Help me get a list of all the people who entered and left the banquet hall on the day of the Nobel dinner." Liemo whispered. He was not sure that the Black Shadow Man was the invited guest. The safest way was to expand the suspects to all the people in the banquet hall. "Oh, Oklahoma." Ambassador Zhao hesitated for a moment and agreed without hesitation. This list was not confidential, but it involved a large number of people, which was a bit complicated. But with his many years of business in the local area, it should be no problem. Liemo raised his teacup. "Then I'll toast you first." Chapter 296 Computational Logic Complexity and Structural Complexity. Yanjing Mosey Technology Laboratory. Liemo felt that the scene in front of him was somewhat familiar. A man in a plaid shirt sat in front of him with a fearless look on his face. "You have resigned from Weibo and are ready to join our Mosey Technology Laboratory?" Liemo frowned when he heard the request of the man in the plaid shirt. That's right. The person sitting in front of him was Beaming Gayu, who had already socially dead. With the title of the biggest liar in the country, it was estimated that no company would hire him. Unexpectedly, he actually set his sights on Mosey Technology Laboratory. Although Liemo believed that he had a certain responsibility in this incident. But Mosey Technology Laboratory is not an internet company like Weibo that sells cabbage. After a few months of training courses, you can mix in. The employees of Mosey Technology Laboratory are all elites in their fields. It is not feasible to use personal connections here. Liemo asked, "Are you confident that you can pass the entrance test?" Beaming Gayu said fearlessly, "I'm confident. In fact, if I hadn't experienced this incident, I wouldn't have stayed on Weibo for a long time." He paused, "Because I want to be a wheel brother, and facing the database all day will only make me farther and farther away from my dream." Become a wheel brother? Liemo couldn't help but look at him with admiration. If Beaming Gayu said that his idol was John Skeet or Gennady Korotkovich, Liemo would ask him to leave the office immediately. Because those programming gods are too far away from the general public, so far that it is difficult for ordinary people to reach. If a middle school student in reality said that he wanted to be the god John Skeet, then he is full of beautiful expectations for the future. But if a programmer who has worked for many years said that he wanted to be the god John Skeet, then he can only be lying. "Oh, you should take our character test first." Liemo also looked helpless for the fearless people. He actually had no opinion on Beaming Gayu. On the contrary, he admired his perseverance. If he passed all the tests smoothly, he would accept him. Liemo had already made up his mind 5 minutes later. If your mother and girlfriend fell into the water, who would you save first? Beaming guy who looked at the test questions, and his fearless face just now disappeared without a trace. A man has only one arm. What is his last name? Boss, do these questions really have standard answers? Beaming guy who found that these questions were not even brain teasers, they were simply meaningless. Liemo smiled slightly. Yes, you just need to answer the questions according to your heart. Seeing the fearless man, now with a confused look on his face, he felt secretly happy. Unlike ordinary people who focus on the right or wrong of the answer, the character test questions designed by Zioha focus on the subconscious choices of the candidates in ambiguity. Human beings are cunning animals, often deceiving others through appearance and language, and sometimes even deceiving themselves. But there is one thing that cannot be changed by disguise. That is the subconscious. 30 minutes later, beaming guy who handed in the test paper with a dull face. Oh, not bad, you passed. Liemo, who was studying, glanced at the answer sheet. Does this count as having answered the question? Beaming guy who did not show an excited expression, but a puzzled look. Liemo nodded. Yes, you passed the character test. Now go to C1 to find Dr. Zhao Dafeng and let him conduct a professional test on you. Also, be gentle when closing the door. These are all made of logs, and it is very expensive to replace them. He shook his head as he said this. Young people nowadays play with their mobile phones too much, so their hands are strong. Beaming guy asleep walked out of the office and closed the door gently. Liemo took the test paper again, read it carefully, and smiled a little. TSK, another 9-point character score. This is a treasure. But just as Liemo immersed himself in the idea of proving the gold batch conjecture again, his mobile phone received a new message. The flowers are blooming. There was only one sentence without a beginning or an end in the message, but Liemo understood it in an instant. He locked the door of the office, lit the star disk behind the desk, and went up to the second floor by the stairs. Master, welcome back. Zioha's pleasant voice sounded, and the lights in the laboratory lit up one after another. That's right, the text message just now was sent by the artificial intelligence Zioha, and the content it sent each time was different, but it could make Liemo understand the meaning instantly. What are the results of the analysis of that set of numbers? Liemo walked to the big screen. After he returned to the laboratory, the first job was to input the numbers on the note into the computer and let Zioha calculate various possibilities. After all, the perfect action of the Black Shadow Man had successfully aroused his curiosity. According to ASCII code, substitution cipher, shift cipher, musical note code, reverse cutting code, 3Ds, E's and other algorithms, Zioha patiently reported a lot of encryption methods, as if to tell her master that she was very capable. Speak to the point. Liemo didn't care what method she used to decrypt, but only cared about the result. Excluding the illogical statements, I got the following results. 1. Have you eaten? 2. You didn't eat. 3. Do you have a stomachache? 4. Do you have diarrhea? Have you eaten? Do you have a stomachache? What's the connection? Liemo looked at the decryption results on the screen and couldn't help but smile bitterly. He didn't believe that the Black Shadow Man went to so much trouble just to ask him if he had eaten or if he had a stomachache. Master, are these results wrong? Zioha analyzed his expression through the camera. No. Liemo sighed. This may be the limitation of artificial intelligence. There is an essential difference between artificial intelligence and real human brain intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a complex program attached to a computer chip. It is a concentrated expression of complex computational logic. The human brain is complex in structure, and its structural complexity is far greater than that of computers. Even if a supercomputer can perform 100 trillion operations per second, the essential structure is still 0 and 1. The human brain has 50 billion neuron connection groups, and the various combinations between these connection groups will be an astronomical number. The biggest difference between computational logic complexity and structural complexity is the computational choices they make when facing some ambiguous problems. For large-scale regular problems, the computational logic complexity of artificial intelligence allows it to quickly come up with answers. When these problems have no restrictions or very few restrictions, their performance is far inferior to the complex human brain. Just like the number on the note, it is obvious that "have you eaten?" is a wrong answer, but in the calculation logic of artificial intelligence, it is correct. It seems that I have to rely on myself to solve this set of passwords, Liam sighed in his heart. In addition to the password, the list is also a direction. He continued to ask, "Have the results of the list screening come out?" "Master, it's out," Xiaohe replied, "because there was no camera pointing at the restroom in the banquet hall at that time. So according to the camera at the door and the list you provided, there are a total of 11 people who meet the requirements." The names of 11 people popped up on the screen. Too many. It can only be used as a reference. Liam shook his head helplessly again. He realized the powerlessness of artificial intelligence for the first time. Liam, who was immersed in disappointment, did not notice the camera in the corner. He twisted up and down several times continuously, like a child throwing a tantrum. Chapter 297 Good Project. There is a strange phenomenon in mathematics, that is, the simpler the problem, the more difficult it is to solve. In the final analysis, it is because mathematics is not a natural science, and its research object is not physical objects, but abstract concepts. Mathematics is a science, a formal science in science, and its underlying logic is constructed based on the arithmetic axiom system of Peano axioms. This leads to a problem. When it comes to the most basic proof of number theory, mathematics appears to be particularly weak. For example, some people think that 1 + 1 = 2, which is known to 3-year-old children, is very simple, but the mathematician Russell's masterpiece Principia Mathematica took more than 300 pages to prove that 1 + 1 = 2. Looking at the mathematicians who have left their names in the history of mathematics, they can be divided into two categories. One is a mathematician who is good at raising questions and proposing new mathematical theories in the process of solving problems. The other is the kind who is only responsible for creating problems and killing, but not burying them. German mathematician Christian Goldbach is obviously the latter type. In 1742, he proposed two Goldbach conjectures. That's right, the Goldbach conjecture was originally composed of two conjectures, namely the odd number Goldbach conjecture and the even number Goldbach conjecture. The odd number Goldbach conjecture states that any odd number not less than 7 can be expressed as the sum of 3 prime numbers. The even number Goldbach conjecture states that any even number not less than 4 can be expressed as the sum of 2 prime numbers. This is actually the origin of the name 1 + 1. Fortunately, the mathematician Vinogradov partially proved the odd number Goldbach conjecture, which actually proved that any sufficiently large odd number can be expressed as the sum of 3 prime numbers. That is to say, after this, once the even number Goldbach conjecture is proved, the odd number Goldbach conjecture can be perfectly derived. Therefore, under the habit of mathematicians to save paper, the Goldbach conjecture was simplified to any even number greater than 2 can be written as the sum of 2 prime numbers. Seeing the information collected by the artificial intelligence Xiaohe on the screen, Liam showed a bitter smile. He had tried to use the Hardy and Littlewood circle method to try to solve the Goldbach conjecture, and the result was obvious. That is, he completely wasted 3 days. Because there are 2 variables in the Goldbach conjecture, after proposing one, the remaining one is difficult to make a trivial estimate. After these days of hard study and constant frustration, Liam has a deep respect for Chen Shuxian, a mathematical predecessor in China. Chen Shuxian was able to propose a screening method to replace even numbers with almost prime numbers under difficult conditions, and proved 1 + 2. This is already rare, although in Liam's opinion, this result is still a long way from solving the even number Goldbach conjecture. As for the later ones, there are also many mathematicians who claim to have made breakthroughs in proving the Goldbach conjecture, but they have not submitted proof papers, and some have not even given ideas, which is completely of no reference value. Liam has gradually realized that the Goldbach conjecture is different from the world problems he has proved before. This is a completely high mountain. When experienced climbers face a high mountain, the best thing to do is to prepare at the foot of the mountain. So he was not in a hurry to retreat, but worked hard to study various number theory literatures and absorb the wisdom of his predecessors. Knock knock. There was a knock on the door. Liemo knew it was Zhang Xiaoli without looking up, because only she knocked so softly, as if she was afraid of breaking the door. Boss, this is the project application for the experimenters. Zhang Xiaoli handed over a document. Also, beaming guy whose assessment results have come out, and Dr. Zhao gave him an A+ evaluation. A plus? So high. Liemo raised his head. He didn't expect that the seemingly dull plaid shirt was so talented. Character. 9. Major. A+. Such results are enough to qualify for entering the laboratory. Then recruit him in. Temporarily place him under Dr. Zhao, and enjoy the benefits of formal employees. Liemo explained. Then should he also be allocated a welfare house in Xiaoshan? Zhang Xiaoli asked. Liemo frowned. Considering the extremely high housing prices in Yanjing, in order to solve the worries of employees, when he was building the new experiment, he planned more than a dozen family buildings outside the laboratory, near Xiaoshan Park. Every formal employee of the laboratory will be able to obtain the long-term use rights of a house. If the employee has worked for more than 10 years, or has made a significant contribution, the ownership of the house will be completely owned by the employee. Give him a 2-bedroom house. He doesn't seem to be married yet. After thinking for a moment, Liemo made a decision. Okay, I'll arrange it right away. Liemo flipped through the project application in his hand. Since there was a project window period recently, he allowed the experimenters to freely choose new projects according to their own preferences. Sometimes, accidental discoveries in the laboratory may lead to a great invention. Scottish scientist Sir Alexander Fleming noticed that a fast-growing mold prevented the growth of bacteria in a discarded culture dish. So he separated the mold and cultured it separately and used penicillin to save countless people. Electrical engineer John Hope tried to use radio frequency heating to increase body temperature in the middle of the last century. He found that electrical pulses did not have much effect on body heat, but could stimulate the heart and reconvert it to rhythm, so he invented the pacemaker. Let's see what good projects the outstanding scientists in the laboratory have proposed. Liemo is full of expectations for the wisdom of the people. Use helium voice change to study the role of resonance in elephant vocalization. Applicants: Zhao Mingru, Liu Zuanshan, Liu Heio. Study the way and reason why koalas excrete square feces. Applicants: Wang Xiaochuan and Liu Lei. Detection of fly contamination of red wine pheromones that transmit information between flies can be smelled by human noses. Guests can only smell the pheromones when they are a little drunk. Applicant: Jingjing. What changes will happen to mathematics when 1 + 1 = 3? Applicant: Zhao Dafeng. Damn, what kind of weird topics are these? Liemo felt that his eyes were burned. Could it be that these seemingly honest and dull experimenters are so stuffy in their hearts? What did the elephants and koalas do to each other? And Jingjing's fly experiment, is this the rhythm of opening a small red wine workshop? As for Zhao Dafeng's 1 + 1 = 3, Liemo was even more speechless. This guy has had enough of orthodox mathematics and is ready to develop into the field of folk science. Doesn't he understand that for mathematics, numbers are not important? What is important is the logical relationship between them. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 298 Password Cracking. When the sun shines on the earth, Liemo's happy book reading time of the day is about to begin again. Of course, before starting, he still has a little mundane business to deal with. Boss, the first batch of the 100 Hope Primary Schools project has started to break ground. There are a total of 10 schools, all located in mountainous areas. Zhang Xiaoli stood in the office and reported what new projects there were for today's Mosey science experiment. Here are the detailed materials. Zhang Xiaoli put the 50 centimeters high materials under her feet on the desk. Oh, it's quite a lot. Liemo frowned. According to the laboratory regulations, he was the one who promoted the Hope Primary School project, so everything in the project must be reviewed by him personally. The Hope Primary School project is the first national charity project of Mosey Technology, and due to the special nature of the construction project, it has to be strictly checked in terms of review. Zhang Xiaoli put the materials in place and walked out the door again. Soon, she came in with another pile of materials 50 centimeters high and put them on the desk. "Boss, this is the material for the second primary school." Then, she walked towards the door again. "So there are a total of 10 piles of materials this high." Liemo stood up and walked to the door. Sure enough, there was a cart full of materials parked outside the door. It would take him 1,296,000 seconds to review all the materials. This is absolutely not okay. Let's do this. Liemo thought for a moment and stopped Zhang Xiaoli from moving the materials. Isn't Zhang Yazi in charge of the education fund? Let her and Chen Shuxian form a 2-person review team. In the future, all materials for Hope Primary Schools will need to be reviewed jointly by the two of them. He made a new decision in an instant. He had never seen Chen Shuxian since he came back from Sweden. According to the feedback from the artificial intelligence Xiaohe, Chen Shuxian was still in the laboratory, doing the dirtiest and most tiring work. There is an old saying that a sword is sharpened by grinding, but the old saying also goes an iron rod is ground into a needle, and excessive grinding may be as bad as too little. Liemo decided to use this childhood playmate. Zhang Xiaoli seemed to be unable to react for a while and looked confused. Then what about today? Send them all to the two of them. Liemo waved his hand, feeling secretly happy. This may be the joy of being a boss. Okay. Zhang Xiaoli nodded, then hesitated for a moment, and said with a blushing face, "Boss, maybe you should go to the laboratory to take a look." Liemo's heart jumped. Is she complaining? Did something big happen in the laboratory? Thinking about it, he walked towards the laboratory a few meters away. "I have drunk the wind and swallowed the sand. The prodigal son has no money to visit the tavern and hear the piper." Just as he approached the door, a wolf-like song came from inside. Pushing open the door, Liemo was shocked to see that Jingjing, with a red face, was holding a glass test tube as a microphone and singing loudly. Several assistants around her were still pouring red wine into the measuring cup. There were already 4 or 5 empty bottles on the ground. Is she drunk? Jingjing. Liemo's face was livid. "Boss, are you here?" Jingjing's body swayed and accidentally touched the half bottle of wine on the laboratory table. Pop! The bottle fell to the ground and rolled to Liemo's feet. It was not broken. Liemo bent down and picked up the bottle at his feet. Sniffed it. Authentic dry red wine. His eyes trembled and he saw that no less than 10 bottles of wine had been wasted. He, who rarely lost his temper with his employees, could no longer suppress his emotions and shouted, "What are you doing?" Seeing the boss's scary face, Jingjing sobered up a little. She lowered her head and murmured, "Aren't they doing an experiment on red wine and flies? I drank too much." A look of joy appeared on her face as she spoke. "However, I have come to the conclusion that when the restaurant's guests are 60% drunk, they can no longer smell the pheromone emitted by flies. You." Liemo looked at her smug look and was almost speechless. "You can't drink alcohol in the laboratory. What if an accident occurs? Killing yourself is a small matter, but what about killing the cute little white mice in the cage?" Jingjing lowered her little face again and said in an almost inaudible voice, "If you knew that Boss Eyebags was preparing to buy an Indian elephant, you wouldn't know you." "What?" Liemo's hearing ability is at the level of level 12, but he didn't seem to understand. "I said, Boss Eyebags, we are going to buy an elephant from India, and we are going to let the elephant breathe helium, and then test its roar." Jingjing raised her little face. She just wasted a few bottles of red wine, but the boss was so angry. He was too petty. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. Liemo frowned and waved his hand. "It's not this sentence, it's the last one." "Are you angry?" Jingjing saw the boss's strange expression and answered. Liemo shook his head. "No, it's 3 numbers. You just said 3 numbers at the end." 787? Jingjing felt that the boss was a little strange, and she took a step back involuntarily. 787. Are you angry? 787. Are you angry? Liemo repeated these numbers over and over again. His eyes lit up, and he turned around and left. He felt that he seemed to have thought of something. Alas, Jing Jing chased after him. There is still a next stage for the red wine experiment. Should I do it? Point all private experiments in the laboratory are suspended. Tell Brother Rybags to let them pay for the elephants after they are delivered. And the one who studies koala poop is absolutely not allowed to buy a koala or a pile of poop. Liemo answered without looking back. Only senior brothers added not make trouble. Mathematicians are the least troublesome. They cannot do any destructive experiments and save money. 787. Are you angry? He closed the office door and carefully took out the note with the number from the safe 5,633,280,714.3714115548 all wrong. I was wrong. Artificial intelligence Zioho was also wrong. This is not a password at all, but a homophonic language. Everything in the world, from rocket launches to eating, drinking, defecating, and urinating, all follow scientific laws. If, in the process of human development, are there any not so scientific things or phenomena? Language is the most unscientific one. The history of human civilization, that can be verified, is only more than 6,000 years, but there are 5,651 languages, not including countless dialects and ancient languages, that have been lost in the dust of history. It stands to reason that language, as a way of communication between humans, should have convergence, in order to facilitate communication. But the reality is that in some remote places, there is even a situation where the language has different pronunciations every 10 miles. The main reason for this situation is that human artistic cells are too active. In order to express emotions or show uniqueness, people like to use homophonic characters to replace the original characters. In this way, over time, the original characters are gradually replaced by homophonic characters due to their low frequency of use. Entering the internet age, netizens like to use the homophony of numbers instead of words. For example, the famous 512 has become a recognized word to express love. Are there homophones in 5,633,280,714.3714115548? Liemo divided this group of numbers into two parts according to the decimal point, and then the two numbers represent a word, and he got the following homophonic table. 56 is pronounced as wuliu. 33 is pronounced as shanshan or shangshan or shanshang. 28 is pronounced as erba or iba. 07 is pronounced as. 14 is pronounced as yaoc or ki. What does wuliu mean? He frowned and thought hard. The shadow man is a foreigner. Professor Wu's son disappeared abroad. Liemo is Professor Wu's student. Liemo attended the Nobel dinner. The shadow man handed a note. After peeling off the layers, Liemo determined that the content of the note should be related to Professor Wu's son. But he clearly remembered that Professor Wu's son's name was Wu Sanwei, not Wuliu. What's going on? Did the shadow man make a mistake? Impossible. The shadow man's actions without leaving any traces showed that he had planned for a long time, and it was absolutely impossible for him to make a low-level mistake of writing the wrong number. Could it be? Liemo suddenly slapped his head. This black shadow man may be a sympathizer of Wu Sanwei, or he is Wu Sanwei's colleague. The difference between them is that the black shadow man has certain permissions to go out. After learning that the winner of the Nobel Prize in Physics is Professor Wu's student, the Black Shadow Man decided to act as a messenger and inform Liemo of Wu Sanwei's current situation through the digital homophonic code on the note. Thinking of this, Liemo felt that he was too stupid because the note sent by the Black Shadow Man was probably made by Wu Sanwei. Wu Sanwei was taken away by the Sa organization when he was very young and did not receive a completely formal Chinese education, which means that the numbers on the note are likely to be dialect homophonic. Liemo clearly remembers that Professor Wu and his wife are both from Suzhou, a water town in the south of the Yangtze River. Wunang Jiao, who speaks softly and gently and generally lowers one tone compared to Mandarin. In Wu language, the homonym of 56 is Wu. The homonym of 33 is Shangshan or Shanshang. The homonym of 28 is Iba. The homonym of 07 is Linki. 14 is pronounced the same as to Daoki. The meaning of these numbers together is that Professor Wu's son is on the mountain. Bully, ring, Ki. It still doesn't make sense. What do Ki and ring mean? Liemo tried his best to recall everything about Wu Sanwei and instantly thought of the story of the bronze statue kingdom he told in the last call. In the story, the evil second prince relied on a powerful alarm clock to threaten the subjects of the entire kingdom. 07 ring the alarm clock. Everything was connected, and Liemo stood up from the chair at once. Wu Sanwei is in the hands of the bullies on the mountain. They have the alarm clock in their hands. To save him, they must first find the key. As for the numbers after the decimal point, 371,411,548, they can be divided into groups of 4. This is the standard latitude and longitude coordinates, representing a place on the earth. Liemo didn't need to look at the map to know where it was, because it was too famous. It is so famous that it has almost become a tourist attraction, because it is the Area 51 of the United States. Chapter 299 Sickness. The winter sun, like a weak girl, gently brushes over everything without leaving a trace of warmth. When Liemo and Xia King appeared at the security bureau, the comrade in charge of registration took a long time to come out of the pavilion. Name: Liemo. Have you made an appointment? I have an appointment with Mr. Da. When the comrade in charge of registration heard him mention Mr. Da, he stopped writing, walked around the front of the car, and looked at the license plate in confusion. Then, he came to the passenger window and tried to look through the glass into the car. The passenger window slowly fell down. "Guozi, are you on duty today?" Xia King greeted. "Ah, Sister Xia, you're back." The comrade in charge of registration showed a look of joy on his face. It turned out that they knew each other. Liemo breathed a sigh of relief. Although the heater was on in the car, he felt like he was about to freeze in such cold weather. "Comrade, it's cold today. Can we go in first?" "No, I need to check with the office. Please wait a moment." The young comrade saluted and turned to run to the guard post. "There is a problem with the computer today." A chill rose from his body. Liemo shivered and unfastened his seatbelt with trembling fingers. At this time, Xia King, who was sitting in the passenger seat, also noticed his abnormality. She opened the car door and ran over. She squatted on the ground and asked anxiously, "Boss, what's wrong with you?" "Cold." Liemo felt like he was in a world of ice and snow. Xia King frowned, stretched out her snow-white palm, and gently placed it on his forehead. "So hot?" A hot feeling passed from her palm to Xia King. "Boss, you have a fever." "Fever?" Liemo asked in a daze. "Am I sick?" "Yes, you are sick." Xia King's big eyes were filled with crystal tears. "Am I sick?" "Impossible. I can't be sick." "I won't be sick." "How can I be sick?" A series of murmurs came out of Liemo's mouth. He had lost consciousness and was lying on the steering wheel. "Guozi, Guozi." Xia King seemed to have thought of something and shouted at the guard post. The security guard who was in charge of registration just now rushed out. "Help me carry him to the back row." "Yes, be careful and move a little further inside." Bang. Xia King closed the car door and looked at the man in the rearview mirror, who was red-faced and in a coma. Sighed softly, started the car without hesitation. Sister, what are you doing?" "The office hasn't replied yet. You can't break through. You know the discipline of the security bureau." Security guard Guozi leaned on the car window and shouted loudly. Xia King hesitated at this time. She grew up in the military camp, and the discipline has penetrated into her bones. "I absolutely can't be sick." A painful groan came from the back row. Xia King's eyes became firm, and she shouted out of the car window, "Guozi, get out of the way. I will personally apologize to the master." Buzz. The car engine roared and rushed towards the gate. When it was 1 centimeter away from the guardrail, the guardrail retracted. In the rearview mirror, Xia King saw Guozi pressing the remote control. Hurry up, and hurry up. Beep beep. A team of patrolling members panicked and dodged the speeding car. "Fuck, who is so awesome that he dares to drive fast in our security bureau? Notify the law enforcement team and put him in solitary confinement." A team member looked at the taillights of the car and was about to touch the walkie-talkie on his waist. At this time, a palm stretched out from the side and slapped his hand hard. "What's wrong, Captain?" "Wait, it seemed to be Sister Xia just now. Why is there a man sitting in the back seat?" The captain showed an intriguing smile on his face. Could it be? Who is Sister Zaya? The team member whose hand was hit asked with a grin. Sister Zaya, don't you know? She is. Zaya King drove the car and rushed straight to a two-story white building in the deepest part of the compound. Two nurses in white robes were sitting in front of the duty desk, holding pens to record the ward rounds. Sister Zhu, hurry up, someone fainted. Zaya King had already opened her throat from a distance. Hey, it's Kinga, aren't you on a mission? The nurse didn't seem to hear what she shouted clearly, and a surprised expression appeared on her face. Someone fainted. Push the stretcher out quickly. Zaya King stamped her feet anxiously. At this time, the two nurses quickly ran to the equipment room and pushed the car out. Boss, please hold on. We will get to the hospital. Zaya King quickly opened the back door. Liemo, who was in a coma, was lying on the sofa, and the hair on his forehead was soaked with sweat. Be careful with your head. She directed the two nurses to lift Liemo onto the stretcher. It's okay. It's probably just a high fever. The nurse named Sister Zhu saw her anxious look and comforted her. The three women worked together to push Liemo into the emergency room. Sister Zhu began to prepare an oxygen mask. Zioliu, notify Leo Huang to go to the emergency room. He is best at emergency cases. Zioliu walked out quickly. Who is he? Sister Zhu picked up the alcohol and wiped Liemo's face. He looks pretty handsome. What time is it? Are you still joking? Zaya King blushed and acted like a daughter. Sister Zhu saw her expression and knew that the girl had moved her mind. However, the two people in front of her were of similar age and had a good match in appearance. They were a perfect match made in heaven. Alas, the little girl who used to follow behind her and ask for candy has grown up. It's okay. According to my decades of experience, he just had a high fever because of overwork in the recent cold weather. Don't worry, Leo Huang will give you 2 injections and guarantee that you will be a lively young man again. Don't worry, Kinga. As he said that, he gently stroked her shoulder with his hand. Hearing Sister Zhu's words, Zaya King was both shy and moved. Before Zaya King was a month old, her parents died for the country in a mission. The master personally took her back from the welfare home. But the security bureau was a man's world. How could those rough men who wielded swords and sticks know how to take care of a little girl? One day, when she was learning to walk, she was accidentally tripped by the flower bed while chasing the corba goose raised by the kitchen uncle with a wooden sword. With blood all over her face, she met Sister Zhu with a big braid for the first time. Sister Zhu gently wiped her little face with her gentle little hands. With a gentle voice, she encouraged her to be brave and not to cry. The time she spent in the hospital was the happiest time of Zaya King's childhood. There, she knew that she was a girl. There, she knew that a face full of ash was not cute. There, she felt the smell of her mother, although she didn't know what her mother smelled like. So for her, Sister Zhu was like the sister mother in the TV series. When Sister Zhu got married, Zaya King was sad for a long time, thinking that she had lost her mother again. At this time, Liemo frowned and let out a painful groan, and Zaya King's heart tightened. Chapter 300 Devouring Lice. You are too tired. Come here. There are fun things to do here. Come on. This is your final destination. Come on. Come on. Here are the secrets of the universe. Come back. Everything in the world will return to nothingness. On the bed, waves of whispers came from the secrets and penetrated into Liemo's mind. This noisy voice is so familiar. He frowned. The whispers became louder and louder. It seemed that there were thousands of people screaming hysterically in his ears, consuming his few remaining moments of clarity. Yeah, I'm too tired. I should have a good rest. The survival of Pajero civilization. What does it have to do with me, an earthling? Or thick darkness spread along with the whispers. Wherever it passed, all intelligence disappeared. The darkness seemed to have life and bypassed the high platform shrouded in grey fog. Finally, his mind was almost completely shrouded in darkness. Only the grey fog on the high platform was still rolling calmly. The darkness that occupied most of the territory finally couldn't help it and attacked the high platform from all directions. Darkness rushed towards the platform from all directions. Just when the first trace of darkness was about to touch the first wisp of grey fog, a thunderous copper voice came from the platform. Hey. Land of wisdom, swallowing lice are forbidden. The darkness in my mind was like glass being hammered hard, shattered into pieces with the copper voice and disappeared. The darkness disappeared, and the mumbling faded. No, I still have a lot of things to do. I can't be like those geniuses in the history of mathematics who died young and left endless regrets. Liemo, who had regained some consciousness, tried his best to open his eyes. There were 3 figures in the blur. The yellow figure closest to him was holding a white object. Oh, it's ice. So comfortable. Liemo fully felt the coolness in the scorching heat. The coolness seemed to dispel some of the haziness, and he could gradually hear the sounds of the outside world. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Who is sick again? Didn't I tell you? A tall and burly black-faced man pushed the door open. King? The dark-faced man saw the girl beside the bed and subconsciously touched the back of his head with his hand. Hello, Uncle Huang. King held the ice cube with one hand and stood up slightly. You have grown up and become a lady. Dr. Huang looked her up and down and touched the back of her head with his hand again. It's a pity that my hair will never grow again. What a pity. Nurse Sister Zhu glared at him. It was because you were greedy for alcohol at that time. Kinga is kind-hearted, otherwise why would she only pluck out a tuft? Yes, my wife, you are right. I thank Kinga for her mercy on my behalf. Faced with his wife's scolding, Dr. Huang immediately turned into a little lamb. King looked at the 2 people flirting unscrupulously and smiled. When could she do it? The ice cube melted into water. Liemo made a staccato sound with his dry vocal cords. He felt a stream of spring water flowing down his cheek. Oh, sorry. King hurriedly took a towel and wiped it carefully. Her actions fell into the eyes of the 3 people next to her. Who is this? Dr. Huang knew that this seemingly harmless little girl was a tough character in the past. Compared with the often naked Guobo goose, her hair was not worth mentioning. This boy is King's boss. I heard that they. Sister Zhu whispered in Dr. Huang's ear without any scruples. King, who was holding a towel, had a red cloud spreading to her ears. Uncle Huang, come and take a look. He suddenly fainted just now. Liemo, who was in a daze, was grateful when he heard King finally say this. You know there is a dying patient here. This is a black hospital. Oh, I have already observed his face when I entered the door. He is not short-lived. It's okay. Dr. Huang waved his hand, turned around and put his ear close to Sister Zhu's mouth. Go on. You just said Kinga was holding him. Uncle Huang, Sister Zhu, you. King's mouth bulged and stomped her feet. Dr. Huang then walked to the bedside, grabbed Liemo's pulse, and closed his eyes to feel it. After a moment, he stood up and rubbed Liemo's forehead repeatedly with his rough palm. In the blur, under the stimulation of severe pain, Liemo, who was insensitive, grinned. Uncle Huang. King saw his uncomfortable expression and was about to step forward to stop him, but was stopped by Sister Zhu behind him. You don't know Leo Huang's medical skills yet. Don't worry, it won't be damaged by rubbing. King crossed her hands nervously. Uncle Huang's medical skills came from his ancestors. He had a set of medical methods that looked unscientific, but were particularly effective. Therefore, although he was young and famous, a large hospital once offered a large sum of money to invite Uncle Huang to see a doctor, but he refused on the grounds that his ancestral precepts said, don't go to a large hospital. Of course, no one believed his vernacular version of the ancestral precepts, but he was determined to stay idle in the small hospital of the security bureau. Well, it's okay. Dr. Huang didn't stop until Liemo's forehead was rubbed red. It's just that he's exhausted and cold, which has led to the invasion of evil fire. After I give him a few needles, he will wake up soon. As he said that, he turned around to prepare. King heard this and breathed a sigh of relief. She leaned over to Liemo's ear and said, the doctor said you're fine. You need a few needles. You have to bear the pain later. Needles? Pain? Liemo, whose consciousness was still confused, vaguely felt that something was wrong. What was the problem? At this moment, grey fog burst out from the high platform in his mind. Countless scenes flashed before his eyes, and the next moment, Liemo found himself in the grey fog. No needles. No physical damage. The anxious voice of the big-headed Pajero came from the high platform. In the grey fog, Liemo was much more awake and suddenly remembered the connection state between him and the Pajero people. If he was needled, then all the Pajero people were needled. Perhaps among them there were pilots who were driving spacecraft, medical technicians who were operating mechanical arms, and even weapon technicians who were making black hole bombs. If they were suddenly pricked with needles, it would cause chaos in the Peroj galaxy. No needles. Liemo realized the seriousness of the problem. The screen flipped, and the grey fog dissipated. Today, let Kinga see my latest research results. Judge 13 soul-stealing needles. Dr. Huan held a 2-inch long silver needle and walked to the bedside. The silver needle flashed a cold light under the light. When the silver needle is out, the evil spirits will retreat. Judge 13 soul-stealing needles. The first one, Yang Bei soul-stealing needles. Let's go. Dr. Huan waved the silver needle, and a silver light was drawn. The silver needle was getting closer and closer, and Liemo urged with a frown. Be good, it won't hurt. Dr. Huan looked like a big bad wolf looking at a little white rabbit. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.